Guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are here giving you guys a live, yes, on Married at First Sight. We are talking to you guys about this episode 7. Was quite the interesting episode. First, want to say to anybody who is in the New York area of America, New York, please be safe out there. I did see the news from the UK shores, and a couple of my panelists have let me know as well. So I just want to send out prayers to you guys as well. Please be safe out there. And my prayers go out to you guys. All right, cool. So today we are giving you guys episode 7 review. We'll have a super panel on a little bit later on to come and discuss the episode. But yes, you know, this episode was one of those interesting episodes around Hurricane K. Yes, she came in strong. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I saw it, I said, this one here deserves one of these moments. Yes, it deserved one of those moments, because when they had the conversation with Dr. Cal, it was one of those conversations where I said, bro, you're about to see the dragon every single time she feels insecure or unsafe in the relationship. I'm not saying he was perfect, by the way. He himself too caused an issue. You know what I mean? So we're gonna talk about them too in the future of this particular show today. We had Eric and we also had Rachel. Shout out to Dr. Cal for, you know, speaking the truth. One is like science. One is like science, one is like art, and I love the explanation. You're absolutely right. One is like science, one is like art. But they need to be able to work together. But I really do believe Rachel's got an adverse effect to budgeting, right? But I can understand why. All right, I can understand why she feels that way, and I can also understand why he feels he wants to lock it down. You get me? So I'm with it. I'm definitely with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see both of their aspects, and if they can work together, this could go righteous. If they don't work together, this is going down the drain. Okay. Then we had obviously Brett and Ryan. Do you know what? I'm starting to like them. I'm starting to warm up to Brett and Ryan, you know. Listen, Ryan, you know, at first I wasn't feeling Ryan, you know. At first I thought he's a little bit cold and that, you get me? But then I saw my man, you know, showing a bit more life, a bit more energy. Now, he still isn't convinced. Let's keep it 100% true. My guy does not like, my guy does not rock with Brett like that, right? At the moment, he doesn't. I just don't think he finds her attractive. Like, if you saw them on a sofa on a couch, if you saw the distance between the two of them, you just knew that they weren't really feeling it. So, yeah, there was something not quite right there as well, right? Cool. Then we had we had Gil, and we also had Michaela. Now, man, it's mad. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know whose side I should fall on. At first, I really was with Gil, yeah? But I'm not gonna lie. Today, certain things that Gil was kind of saying were just a little bit annoying, right? Like, for instance, she's got all her shoes in the cupboard, and he makes this comment about, no, when they come into the house, he said, "Is it good enough for you?" And he said, "It would have, you know, for me, it's a bit much, but da-da-da." And it's like, every time you make a juxtaposition with what she would do with how you feel about it, and it's like, bro, if you do that, you are going to cause issues in your relationship. It's getting boring when every single time you juxtaposition how you feel against what you think she's gonna feel like. You know what I mean? I mean, the shoe situation, it's already bought. Why are we complaining about the shoes that's already bought? Do you understand? Sir, the shoes have been bought. And here's my thing. I think Gil has reached a point where he just wants to take the piss, bruv. I think he just wants. I think right now Gil's in the mode of, I'm gonna take the piss out of everything, right? Because, and here's my thing, I can rock with Miller a little bit, you know, because the bed that he jumped on, I'm not gonna lie, looks small. I ain't gonna lie to you. If that's a queen bed or king bed, whatever it was, I'm a little bit shook, right? If that's a queen bed or whatever it was, it's a dead bed. The bed looks small, blood. Even the bed to me looks small, blood. It looks small to me. Okay, so when she said it looks small, I said, "You're right, girl. It looks small. It looks smaller than my bed right now, cause it looks smaller than my bed right now, cause." So I totally understand, bruv. You understand, right? And someone said, "I like Gil. He's giving Miller medicine." Yeah, he probably is. He probably is. But we can discuss more things around the intimacy as well. I think there's some really good conversation around that as well. So good points there. And then we had obviously Bao and Johnny. Wow, what a U-turn, Bao and Johnny. What a freaking U-turn with Bao and Johnny. But I called it from the first episode, baby. Now I kind of see that they're actually trying to work things out. I love the fact that they're able to have honest conversation, right? When Johnny made a point, yeah, about about Bao's childish way of coming towards him, I said, brother, I kind of get what you're saying, but I feel like it goes deeper than just that. Right, I got what Gil was saying. No, I got what. Sorry, not Gil. I got what Bao was about. What Johnny was saying, in a sense that sometimes you don't want the cute stuff. Sometimes make me horny. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're doing all that cute stuff, yeah, it's not gonna make me feel I'm horny, 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 horny. I don't feel like that. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of get that, right? I kind of get that. Not only that, blood, you have to remember, my girl said she's not showering before she gets in the bed at night time. What do you want this brother to do? What do you want him to do? The girl doesn't want to shower before. Why would he not feel away? Why would he not feel away, blood? I've already told you I don't do the non-shower thing, and you want to do the non-shower thing. What do you think? Listen, let's keep it 100 real now. Yeah, some of us have lived lives before Jesus and that, right? The when sex happens the most is when I'm going to bed. You know the ones, innit? Where your babies will say to you, babe, I'm going to bed now. You're like, you're going to bed now? I was gonna stay up, but let me come to bed. Let me come to bed. You come to bed, okay? All right. Now, if you're clean and you're showered, this is gonna be a sexy time. You know the ting, blood. All right. It's gonna be a sexy time. Nobody wants to be having sex, okay, when the other person is stinking and unclean. I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry. You don't want to be doing that. Okay. We don't want to be doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying right now is, yeah, that on the level, I kind of got his point, but he ran home. That's the only thing, right? He ran home. That's the only thing. He's not allowed to run home, sir. You can't run home. Okay? You cannot run home. Okay? That just doesn't work. But I do get the shower thing. It's a non-starter. Yeah, it's a non-starter. Yeah, when she said it's your preference, I said no. It's not a preference. Go and shower now. Go and shower now. Robert said you're gonna get this fish cake. Oh man. So yeah, I totally do get it. Yeah, I get it, man. Do you know what I mean? Nah, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're not trying to do that, man. We're not trying to do that. I'm sorry, and I can't defend that. I'm sorry, I just can't defend it. I can't defend it as your personal preference. I can't defend it as personal preference. You need to be showering after gym. You need to be You've had a hard day. Go and shower, mate. You don't live on your own anymore. You're with a partner, and no sex time is going to happen after that. None. Listen, let's keep it 100% real. The sex is so much more fire when the ting is fresh. You know the ting now, cuz. Yeah? You know the ting now, cuz. The sex is more fire when the ting is fresh. Am I lying? Man them, girl them. In the chat, you already know I'm not lying. Christian or no Christian. If you've had sex before, you already know what it is. When you have sexy time and it's fresh and everybody's clean, whoo! You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. So, no. You understand? So, You know what I mean? So yeah, she got a shout. It's just that simple. But it what do you know what? She took it well. That little when he said a little something about her and said, "Oh, it's a bit childish the way you come towards me." She took it well, right? I do get the other aspect, which is that when he said it about her happiness, that it's going to be impacting upon who she really is. You know what I'm saying? He just wants sexy. That's what he wants. Let's be honest. The boy, Johnny, he wants sexy. He wants that girl that you see on the movies that comes up to you, grabs you by the throat, and just starts tonguing you down. Like, he wants that kind of sexiness. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think they're in big trouble. You know what I mean? They're in big trouble. All right, cool. So, listen, we're not gonna have an open panel, but I've invited some people through. So, I see Lights there, I see Sean's there, I see Ray's there. We'll start off with you guys. I know a few people, other people will join in a little bit later, but it's good. We can have a nice little intimate chit chats. You understand? All right. Call it, call it, call it. Let me bring my peoples on. Yeah, yeah. The maestros are also on. I got my gods of thunder and lightning on here as well. Sean and Ray. My guy, gang, gang. Love for that, bro. Love for that. Love for that, man. Love for that. Man. This is gonna be the interesting conversation today. We were waiting for the hurricane. The hurricane came, but the hurricane didn't come alone, guys. Today, and there was hurricanes in every single couple today. You understand? Where do we kick off and start? Let me see. Let's start nice. Let's start it simple to hard, innit? So let's start with Ryan and Brett. Oh, Ray, sorry about that. Let's start with Ryan and Brett first and foremost. I want to get you guys' thoughts on them. They were looking good, but it does look like they got some differences. He already said at the end that he's not feeling the same way she's feeling. So I want to kind of get you guys' thoughts on Brett and Ryan. Right, Ray, I know you opened your mic, so go for it.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go. You good?
Hey, holla. I'm coming for you, Sean. You didn't respond to me in the text. You didn't respond to me in the chat, yo. I'm coming for you. Highlight. I don't think I've met you before, like, highlight. And I want to shout out to my family in Brooklyn, New York. Everybody's doing well. So that's a blessing with everyone else who's been affected by Hurricane Ida. I just want to send you my blessings. So shout out to New York, Brooklyn. Anyway.
Thank you.
Brett Ryan. I still don't know much about them, right? I still don't know. What I will say this is though, I will say this. Women, we have to do better with stating what we want. We have to do better with understanding what we need. And I feel like Brett is not really expressing what she wants, what she needs, what she feels in the relationship. Like she's not really getting deep with him and having really, tough conversations with him. So again, I still don't have enough to chew on with these two. Now, this is what I will say. Ryan ain't feeling Brett. And in the end, Brett is going to be heartbroken. He does not feel her. And he's going to be very politically correct about it. He's not really going to say how he feels. But as far as I'm concerned, Ryan is not really feeling Brett. Can he grow to feel her? Sure. It's only been, 2 weeks? They need time. So let's see. But again, I still don't really know how I feel about Brett and Ryan because there's not enough to chew upon. Do I feel this way only, or does everyone else feel this way? I'll let other people talk and then I'll come back in and chime in some more.
Go for it, Sean. You want to jump in? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I just these two, I don't know. I just don't see a connection here. And the main thing with Brett that I see as a challenge is just she is in her head too much. It's a lot of fears that she's expressing, and I get it. Everybody's different, but her approach always comes with what's the risk first. She was scared about the dogs meeting up. She's scared about the planes. She's scared about the kayak. She wants to make sure they're going to get along. And I think that all of that can unfortunately be a turnoff. And Ryan actually said it. He says, he's just relax. He just told her, I just wish she would just relax and just take it easy. And then when they had their one-on-one with Dr. Cal, and she was talking about their connection, and she says, well, I don't know. And he was like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, these are things you should know. And she talks about a lot of things, but I don't think she gets to the substantive things. And maybe that's because she's been out of the relationship game for so long. So she's just dealing with all the little superfluous things that come along with, okay, how we gonna get along? Who cooks what, or who does these, all these little things, but you're missing the big pieces of what's your attraction, what's the chemistry like? Does he like you? Is he into you? What are things that you can do together, right? What are the things you really like to do? I think just everything for her is just like an issue. Oh my God, he has a deer on his wall. He's a hunter and he's country. It's like, all right, are you interested or not? Because we can list all the things that bother us about someone, but that's not going to build our marriage. And I don't think she's focused enough on those things. And Ryan has said he's an affectionate person. And we're going to see how this plays out in multiple couples, where this lack of affection and intimacy, whatever form it is going to be a barrier in that relationship. It's not everything, but it is an important thing in bonding a couple together, right? That's what, as God designed marriage, when two become one. That is the ultimate form, right? So and these folks are married, and it's not to say I want to push sex on everybody, but these are things we have to start fleshing out and talking about and getting comfortable with each other. And when that doesn't happen, sometimes you spend so much time focusing on the other things. I guess that's what I'm trying to say with when it comes to Brett and Ryan. So that's my thought.
Good thoughts. Thank you, Ray. And Sean Light, you want to jump in and let us know your thoughts?
Yeah, I see, Kojo, you have a full New York panel tonight. So
Yeah.
cool. Nice to see you, Sean. Ray, I've been looking forward to talking to my little Brooklyn sister. So that's going to be interesting. My thoughts about Brett and Ryan are that my general thought has boiled down to the fact that I don't think he's really interested in her. I think that he's trying, but I think that he has a tendency towards wanting to be adventurous, and that her bit of anxiety or whatever it is that she feels is sort of a detriment to them coming together. Because I think his preference is probably the type of girl that can jump in and be spontaneous and be okay and just kind of go for it. And the drawback is that it's hard for her to do those things. I did have a bit of a second thought about it, kind of like an opposite thought that, it would be nice if he could sort of help her through those things. But I think at this point, he's not really wanting to be that type of person. He's just wanting to figure out who she is and if they do fit together without him having to try to help those kinds of situations. But there was a lot of talk about the different lifestyles and cultural lifestyles as far as him being a country outdoorsy type person, and we saw this head of the deer on his wall, and I just really my whole thought about Ryan has always been around the concept that he is trying to fit into the type of life that is expected of him from his family and from his community, his friend base. And that, I think that he's always trying to be that. I don't know that he really knows who he is. So even though I'm the type of person, for me, if I was dating somebody and hunting is a deal breaker for me, I kind of look at the situation the way it has unfolded, and we have found out that, he really only goes hunting once a year. I sort of attribute that to that aspect of him that is trying to fit in with his family. Like if they, have like a 1-year trip where he goes with his dad and his brothers and his cousins, and they have this thing, guy bonding thing, and that's what they do, that he's going to go along with that. He doesn't seem to be, from what they say, a person that is going out on a regular basis and really chasing that type of a lifestyle for hunting. But being an outdoorsy person is not necessarily the same thing as being an avid hunter. So if this is something that she's not going to be able to get beyond, even if he did like her, I can see for him why it would not fit. So my whole perspective is that, I don't think that they're going to be able to move past that. But I think that he's trying. And for Brett, I think that there is an aspect of surprise that she, as much as she's trying to engage in conversation with him, she's not really asking a lot of questions. She's not really getting to the heart of what they need to get to. And they really have only a short amount of time. So, if there was any encouragement to her, it would be what Pastor Cal said to her is start to have the deep conversations and don't shy away from that.
Good points, good point. Sorry, Ray, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys put up the deer on the wall. I'm sorry, but you know how, you guys know how I would deal breakers. Yo, a deer on the wall, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. Imagine coming to my house in Brooklyn, yo, and seeing a deer on the wall. My family look at me like I'm crazy. My homeboys would be like, what is a deer doing on your wall? And I've been to many people's houses with deers and all kinds of animals. I'm sorry, y'all. We're not back in, the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. We had to hunt to eat. What we hunting animals for? Sorry, y'all. I know that might be an unfavorable opinion, but what are we hunting animals for? And I think this is a great example of how Brett is not really being honest and she's not speaking up. And these things are going to pile up. And eventually it's going to affect her spirit. And you saw how her spirit was with those dogs. I'm telling you, they need to have Caesar Milan. He'd probably be the real expert on the show, unlike this Pastor Cal. Is this Pastor Cal a real pastor? Is he a real expert? Because he seems mighty fraudulent to me. But that might be another unpopular opinion too. But they need to have Caesar Milan on the show where you talk about better human, better dog. And you can see how Brett responds so stressfully and so over the top. And so just like she's worn out before she even gets into the situation. And instead of being honest about it, she's going to hold it in, keep it in. Ryan is going to feel it and it's not going to work. Tell him you don't like the deer on the wall. And if y'all would have lived together, no deers on the wall. Am I crazy? I know I'm crazy, but am I crazy to think that?
Sean, is she crazy to think that?
She's crazy to think that. First of all, Ray, you ain't in Brooklyn no more. You in Paris, sis. You in Paris right now. So there's plenty of Parisian things on the wall that I'm not going to have in my New York City wall. So
it's true.
So and the dude said, he said, I will put it in the garage. We can put it in another room in the house. It doesn't need to be in the bedroom. Doesn't need to be in the boudoir for the poussoir, right?
Sean, it don't need to be anywhere. I don't want no dead head nowhere upon the house.
Well, guess what? You're not a man and you're not Ryan. And he likes to hunt every now and then. And that's he's well within his rights to do so.
You really think so, Sean? You really think he has the rights to go out there and just be shooting animals to then put it on the wall for what?
I eat chicken, Sean? I eat cows, I eat a whole lot of things, and they're not organic or not vegan, right? So I'm eating meat, and somebody has to kill that cow.
Yes, Sean, I get it. So you telling me they ate that deer? You think they ate that deer?
Yeah, that's called venison. It's called venison.
And you think they ate it?
I'm sure they did, because that's what people do after they hunt. They put the deer on top of their pickup truck, and they take it to a butcher who then slices the meat, and then after that they keep the head because the head is the prize. It's not a lion; it's a meat that people eat. Not my choice. I don't like the taste of gamey food, but people eat lamb.
So you think because I know exactly. I know in some places in West Africa, for example, I went to a Tabaski or an Eid and they would kill the goats. It was a whole thing and they prayed over it and then they ate it. That I get. Maybe it's my ignorance when I see, certain types of people hunting. I'm thinking they just hunting and just a hunt. But if you're telling me they eat it too, okay.
Yeah, they hunt geese. They hunt, there's different seasons. So in different seasons, and I'm not a hunter. I just happen to be aware of what takes place. So there's different animals that you can hunt in different seasons. It's very regulated. So you can't just go out there and start shooting deer just to do it. You can only do it at certain times of the year, so that you don't impact the wildlife. So at the end of the day, it's a hobby, it's a sport. And people engage in doing it, and some people, like to bring back their prize, especially if they got a real big deer with those, tremendous antlers. They want to bring it home.
So
bring
it's sort of like, is it sort of like fishing? Because when I go fishing, I throw the.
Hold on, like 2 seconds.
Wait.
No, if Light wants to talk, she can go ahead.
for it,
She can
Light.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to get in there. I think that we have to differentiate the differences here between what happens when people are trying to the food process and the sport process. When people are hunting for sport, it is a little bit of a different connotation for me, because you're hunting because you enjoy killing. You enjoy killing these animals, and that's something that takes me back a little bit. So if somebody's actually growing, and the words are not coming to me, but if you have like a cow, you're going to kill a cow for, to be able to distribute for food. It is a different thing. I can understand some, vegans saying, okay, well, we think cows shouldn't be killed and all of those things and whatever animals, but there is a different mindset. And the mindset of a hunter for me is someone that is, and it's going to be controversial. I just really have to preface it by saying I'm a Belizean girl from Brooklyn who likes country. I like country music. I like horses. I like all of that. Hunting for me, however, is sort of the beginning of, it's almost practicing for me. It's like, what do you do after that? When they target practice, the next step is they're going to go hunt smaller animals, and they're going to hunt bigger animals. And then, it's like any other thing that you want to, move continuously to the next big challenge. And that is the thing that keeps me away from hunting, or, my mindset away from that, because I just don't like that complete personality that is interested in that type of blood, sport.
She said, Light, I love you, honey. She said, this is it. There's a difference between a sport. I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm quite versed on hunting. My grandmothers had farms in Jamaica. I saw them raise animals and then kill the animal, and we ate from the animal. I've seen this thing, but I don't know. I have the visions of, the Trump sons and these men out here in Africa killing animals. So maybe there's a difference. Maybe there's levels, there's tiers. I'm here to learn. That exactly what Light said, I agree with.
Okay, would you have a problem if somebody fished?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Well, that's what I was saying when Light was coming in, was it's the same as fishing. And my father, we fished, we threw the fish back into the thing.
If you didn't throw it back in, would that be a problem?
See, can I be honest?
Ended up on a wall?
Can I be honest? Can I be honest? I was watching the show the other day, and this guy caught a big fish, and I was like, throw it back in. And he didn't. I don't know if he did or not. So I might. I don't know, Kojo. I have an issue with kids. I saw my grandmother. Yeah, I saw my grandmother kill a chicken, and I couldn't eat the chicken. I couldn't eat chicken for like a month. I saw her go with the chicken.
No, was
I had the same experience, Ray, because I was vegetarian for literally 9 months of my life because of experiences that I had with chickens that were so friendly and came up to me, and I was like, oh, I can't do it. And, and just, there was so much. And and with cows and being around cows, and I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm looking this cow in the eye. I'm just not going to ever. But then, when my iron started to drop and my body said, you better get some steak, you better get some burgers, I wound up going back to eating.
No, Light. I was a vegan for 7 years, Light, because of that. A friend of mine who's a vegan, person, she sent me a video of how these animals are treated. I didn't eat meat for like 7 years, yo. And ever since then, it's affected me. When I see an animal on the wall or somebody fishing, I'm like, ugh. And I eat meat today. I eat meat, y'all. But I don't know. Maybe I'm two-faced when it comes to this, but it bothers me.
It's a complex situation. It's a complex, thought process. Where is the differentiating line? And that is the problem with this situation with hunting and with this couple, is that, what I also recall from Ryan was that he is very much actually an animal lover. He was crazy about her dog, and her dog, was just falling in love with him. I don't think he's a person that is a danger in general to animals, but hunters, my experience, and I really, to be honest, I haven't met a lot of hunters because I just don't kind of run in those circles. But I mean, the ones that I have met, really, I mean, to be honest, if I'm going to be really, really transparent, the unease for me is always there because they always do have their weapon with them. It's like that type of culture and personality is they depend on that weapon for everything, and hunting is just one aspect of it. So I really sort of remove myself from, it changes my mind from saying, okay, they went fishing, but this guy won't put down his rifle. Every time he gets a little nervous, every time he has a little emotion, he's going to pick up his gun. I'm gone. I'm going to go. It's nice to meet you. Bye. So, but I don't see that in Ryan. I see so much about Ryan, and I'm holding on to something that happened when he first told his family that he was going to enter into this process with mass, and they were so, not even in a cute, funny way, admonishing him for being not normal. And I think that if he's hearing that every day, and he's been hearing that his whole life, and there's a part of that culture that is adverse to anything foreign, anything that is not like them, it's probably very hard for him to not partake when they say, we're going to go hunting, boy, let's go. He's going to go, okay, I'm going to go, because if he doesn't, then he's separating himself from his family and his friend base. And that's the difference that I see in him. And I might be reaching, but that's what I see.
What are you going to say, Sean?
Yeah, I just want us to be careful in generalizing or stereotyping because somebody hunts that we just create a whole persona. He likes to hunt a couple of times a year. He has a deer on his wall. Deer are not endangered species. It actually helps with population animal control because deer can overrun. And I don't know if anybody's ever had a house in the country or lived in the country, but deer are a nuisance. Okay, so just I don't want us to, everybody's saying their opinion, which is all great, but let's just not stereotype and create a whole persona behind who Ryan might be because he's somebody that likes to hunt. That's all I would say.
Well, I mean, this is what we're doing on this panel, though. Hello? Isn't that what we're doing with everybody?
I agree.
We're creating some kind of thought on what they show. Yeah, but we stereotype everybody.
Saying not stereotyping. Yes, can we look at the hunting? But we've already placed him in almost a political party. We say he's running around with a gun. I think that's when we're getting too extreme. Yeah, can we explore what kind of hunter he is? Absolutely. Let's look at his personality, see where that lines up, and all of these other things. But if we'll get on the horse and start walking, and before you know it, we've created a whole persona that's not really based in evidence. It's just based on one singular thing that this person happens to partake in. So let's just.
You misunderstand me. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I don't misunderstand. I'm just saying that's the other extreme. Yeah, I think that is the other extreme that we can get to if we continue down a path of painting a picture with who Ryan might be because he chooses to hunt. That's what I'm trying to say is I don't think we should go so far as to say all of these other things in between when we don't have enough evidence to show that to be the case.
Does anybody have any evidence for Ryan being a certain political party?
I never said he was a political party. All I said was my experience is, I mean, he did talk about it a little bit, and with the whole political stuff, but I'm just saying my experience when I see certain types of people hunting, that is what I see. I'm not saying that's him, but that's what I see. My main issue with it is Brett needs to speak up. She needs to speak her truth, and she needs to talk, not on a superficial level, on a deeper level. That's my point in regards to this. That's all.
And my point was that I think that he is absolutely not that type of person. I think that he is sort of the opposite of that person, but he's trying to fit in with family. And if he's a person that goes hunting once a year, that's probably why they have like this annual thing. And I don't actually, I'm sorry if I made it sound like I was generalizing, because, I have, a number of people that I care about that are in a country lifestyle. And I don't think that they all are those types of bloodthirsty people. But I think that there is a pattern there that I have observed, personally, and in just an observation of people that, that are that type of person, that they're kind of always looking for some reason to shoot that gun. And I don't think Ryan is that. And the people that I care about, are generally not that. Even the people that I know that hunt, they're generally not that. But for the most part, my perception is that hunters are gun toters.
That's a fair point. I mean,
That's
I
fair.
hear both sides. I'm hearing. Obviously, in UK we're more white knife wielders, but no worries.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I hear both sides. I like the way the conversation went, because I think we're trying to draw on different narratives. We use personal experience. We use sometimes what we've seen, but we also sometimes use evidence what's on the show. I think it drives. You try to bring information for all over the place, right? So I actually understand. I don't have a problem. I don't listen to the comment section half the time, because half the time they don't follow what you're really trying to say. We're engaging in a conversation, which means they're going to have different points of view, and that's why when we come together, we have different points that can help chisel. So I like what Sean said as well. Let's not stereotype. It helped us bring it back and make sure that we're all following that train of thought. Is there evidence for this? For instance, his political affiliations, aside the gun thing, his political affiliations seem to be some way, right? Because of the other episode that we saw. That's the evidence, right? And I think also goes with him on that same political affiliation, because Ryan almost spotted him when they spoke last week. But I agree with you. We can't be stereotyping hunters. I don't think every hunter is that way. And I don't think all hunters go from small game to big game. I don't think that at all. So yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think it goes from here to here. I don't think we can make that correlation. All right, cool. That was good. I don't think we even had that much to talk about with Ryan and Brett. Freaking hell. Look what a deer can do. Huh? Look what deer can do. Oh, I think it was going to be a 5-minute conversation. Love it. All right, cool. Let's talk about another couple then. Actually, no, there's one more thing I want to talk about Brett and Ryan. Their intimacy levels. Because they have differences in intimacy, right? I think even on the sofa I watched them, and although she was touching his leg, the gap between them, man, I could have sat between them. Do you know what I mean? Like it was something a bit odd about that. So I don't know if anyone wants to go that. You want to go, Ray? Go for it. Talk about the intimacy that they showed.
But I have a question though. Is this normal? Why is Pastor Cal pushing everybody to have sex? I feel like that's the first question. It's like week 1, week 2. Why is he like, did you have sex? Did you have sex? Did you have sex? Did you consummate? Like, I don't get it. Aren't we supposed to take our time? I know we're in a marriage. Aren't we supposed to take our time? We'll get into that. Anyway, you're absolutely correct. I don't know what's going on. But again, if Brett and Ryan, if they don't speak on a deeper level and discuss what is going on and what they need and what they're looking for and what they're feeling, they're not going to have sex. But and what's up with all this touchy? But then there's distance. It's strange. It's weird. I don't get it. But again, it's only a week. It's only 2 weeks. What do we want from these people? This is my first time watching this show, so I don't know if this is normal, but all this sex, and I'll be the first one to have sex like that. Okay, quick, fast, open, ready to go. But come on, not everybody behaves this way. Slow down.
I know, it must be just me, boy. After 8 days, I mean, that's a long time for me, but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
We married, no? 2 become 1? What's that?
Yeah, but I don't know you. I just met you.
What do you mean? We spent how many days together, back to back?
So?
You don't know me?
I don't know you.
And some of these folks are self-admitted having one-night stands before. And that's not even with a husband. That's a stranger. That's a real stranger.
Right, but we're talking about Brett and Ryan. Brett hasn't had sex in 2 years. Remember? 2 years.
So he's supposed to wait another 2 years?
Well, I ain't say that, but he could wait another week or 2.
Well,
why he got to give the sex right now? Okay. You men are always talking about women need to take their time. Women shouldn't open up their legs so fast.
Who said
90-day rule. 90-day rule.
I'm not Steve Harvey. I don't have no 90-day nothing.
The
We
manosphere,
married, we
women be
can get it
having
in
sex, not
as long
having
as we.
children. Sean, this is not the typical marriage. Don't act like y'all were dating for a year and then you married. You meeting a stranger, married
Look,
at first sight,
all,
2 weeks is not the same thing. You want me to just spread open? I would spread open, but I understand chickies who don't. Come
Well,
on.
and that's okay too. And I leave room for it all. But I'm just saying, why can't we have the conversation?
but see,
Now that's true.
I think
That's
the
true.
thing about Pastor Cal asking about sex is because when you put two people together and say, okay, we think that you guys will make a good match, I think asking about sex early on is gauging how well you guys are connecting or if you guys are connecting. I think that's why he's asking. But for each person, it's like he does usually say, you take your time, you do this when you're ready. But if you're trying to surrender yourself to the process, you might want to open yourself up to the physicality, to being able to be physically have physical intimacy, even if it's not sex. I mean, they've had a conversation, in past seasons about having physical connection without sex in order to be able to create and cultivate that bond. So I think it is a personal decision, but it should be based on how you feel, how each couple feels. But just having the discussion about it, I think is really important so that they know where each other is, on what page each other is, and are they on the same page. With Brett and Ryan, Sean has said so many times they haven't been having these conversations at all. How could they really come together if they're starting out being uneasy, if they're not having the conversation about what was your expectation? What did you think was going to happen? How do you feel about it? Did you want to wait, or were you ready? How are we going to get on the same page if we don't have a conversation? And I think that's the thing that we're seeing with Brett and Ryan. Why are they not having a conversation? Who's the least comfortable initiating that conversation? I don't think either one of them, as far as I saw, was initiating a conversation that was deeper than all of the generalizations about life.
These are great points. Can I say something, Coach O?
Yeah.
In real life, women are
Yeah, sure.
taught, and it's like, don't be a hoochie, don't have a one. I say, you guys were giving Michaela heat when she had sex 2 weeks before she was getting married. I remember that conversation with the two of y'all. Y'all were looking at me like
Yeah.
y'all were looking at me like I was crazy when
Yeah.
I was saying, what's wrong with her having sex? Now Sean is like, she's married. Okay, there's a difference between being married and not being married. I get it. But me personally, if I were in a relationship, married or not married, I start off with sex. Me personally, but I'm not part of a major group, because when you have sex with a dude, you know quickly what his intentions are, honey. Quickly, you could tell after the sex. So me, I prefer to have the sex right away. Okay? Yes, I do. Like Sean says, when I get close to the camera, that means I'm serious. All right. Now, I do believe that editing. I know I'm nuts. I know. I watched this episode. I was thinking about Sean the entire episode. I was like, I know he gonna come with this. I'm gonna get him. But look, the producers, I think, have a lot to do with this, and I think Pastor Cal and the producers are in cahoots. And I think they're asking these questions about sex to kind of push the needle a little bit and to see what's happening. But in real life, some women need time. I'm not for that time. I think you should jump right in and see where the man stands, see what's happening, what's going on. But for the typical woman, she needs time. Women take forever when it comes to sex. Well, some do.
I hear you, Ray. Sean, do you want to go now?
I'm exhausted from laughing and everything, Ray. I love it when you get close to the camera, though. That is by far my favorite moment because it's about to go down. So listen, two different things with Michaela involved in this relationship, whatever you want to call it, situationship, 2 weeks prior to maths, and now going into a marriage. By the way, Zack and Michaela have already gotten in, and I have no problem with that, because that's what they were comfortable with. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily pushing the okay, you need to have sex right away, but it is a big component of marriage. It is interwoven and an important part of the connection between a husband and wife. It was designed by God for human consumption in a marriage. So I think it's something that bonds the couple in physical and spiritual ways. So why isn't it something that we're talking about? Why isn't it something that we are moving and making progress towards? Right. And again, it's all about getting comfortable with each other. And that is a part of it. That intimacy, whether it's physical or spiritual, it starts by letting go of what you're comfortable with and moving towards a place of uncomfortability to bridge the gap between you and your partner. And again, is there a physical component to that? Absolutely. But in its form, how it's designed, it's supposed to bond you in a spiritual way as well. And it's so important. And that's why Pastor Cal is talking about it, because it is an important marker of how that couple is moving along their journey. So whether they've made the choice to physically have the act of sex or discuss intimacy, move that line along, start to get more comfortable with each other, that is showing a sign that that couple is opening themselves up to the process. And when you are closed and you have a dead stance on not doing anything, and we'll see that play out in some of the other couples in different ways, it's a marker for how that couple is progressing on their journey. So that would be my rebuttal.
Appreciate it. Go for it, Light.
No, I think what they said was, I agree with all of it. Both sides, really. It just really comes down to, conversation. And I'm not sure why with the two of them, why neither one of them is initiating the conversation, because they're not really talking about a lot of anything. They're not really doing anything. But I did like that they were trying to, like meld themselves and, and connect in certain ways, but it seems very surface. It seems like going through the motions. So I do agree that it's a marker of their progress. They really haven't made much progress at all.
So, a question then, maybe more general to the couple, those two then. Is it sex that's important, or is it genuine intimacy that is important at this stage of the show? Like, it's been 8 days. Go for it, Sean.
So I would say it's what you said, the latter first, because that intimacy and that connection outside of sex is so important first. And as that connection grows, that is going to lead to the physical act of sex. In my thought, that would be that would hopefully be the natural progression of, especially somebody that's married, right? If we just hooking up and it's just a one-off, we don't need all of that. We could just get into it, right? But if you're in a marriage, you should have the first attributes first, because that's going to lead to, one, a better sex life, a better connection intimately in the sexual form, versus just getting it out the way and you haven't done the first part.
Go for it, right?
Kojo, can you and Sean please explain to me, what does intimacy look like from a male perspective?
Sean, she's talking to you.
Silence.
So do you mean the non-sexual form of intimacy?
I mean exactly what you guys talked about. Y'all talked about
Okay.
the physical aspect of sex and the intimate aspect
Sure.
of it. What does intimacy look like for y'all?
So one, it starts with the verbal intimacy, right? So it's me sharing myself with you, you sharing yourself with me, and us being vulnerable about things that are important to us, right? So that's the first kind of step in getting to know. It's that verbal intimacy. Then there is physical intimacy that is non-sexual. So it's the touch of, how I touch your back, how I caress your hair, touching your face. Also, physical intimacy is looking in your eyes, right? Then we move forward with a kiss, right? So the kiss, that's a very intimate thing. And the different levels of how passionate the kiss is going to also, that's the next stage of intimacy. It could be a massage, right? Again, we're not in a sexual per se environment yet, but we are touching each other. We are seeing what feels good to one another. What form of touch do I like? Where do I like to be touched? What turns me on? So as we are starting, and we're starting to progress, the further along we get into that cycle. But yes, we can do all those things definitely without kissing, especially if we don't fully know each other. But that starts to bridge the gap of what we are comfortable and how we interact, and that kind of play that we have with each other.
So if that's the case, then why do you have such a problem? Why do you feel that people aren't intimate when people are hugging, people are touching, people are close, people are kissing? So why is that not enough, right? Why is that? I get a lot of the feeling that y'all need more sex, more like, why is that not enough? Look, I'm just showing you, like I said, I would have had sex day one. Okay, so I'm not saying that, but a typical woman is going to take her time and she's going to do all those things. So how is that not good enough? This is my issue when it comes to men and women. It's like, we as women, we're so confused. Like, which is it? You want me on my back? You want me on my knees?
I don't think it's a not good enough thing, Ray. And I could say that, and I guess that's where my frustration comes in, because I've never, and I'm frustrated and obviously weighing some experiences that I've had, and I've never had an issue with this, right? And that's whether I've had sex with the person or not, right? So I don't see that when done right, the right way, and when we are both consenting adults and we're grown. So I don't get like why some of these things, it's an organic, natural part of a relationship, right? Like when you are dating someone, Ray, or in a serious relationship or at a different stage, are you not comfortable with physical touch?
Oh, well, me, don't ask me, yo.
No, I'm gonna ask. No,
I'm on
I'm
my
just.
back. I'm on my back in 30 seconds. We married, I do. Let's go. I'm on my back. Yo, man, this is how I gauge dudes, yo. This is how I gauge a dude. Sex. Quick. A dude shows himself very quickly after he has sex with me.
I'm not sure that's my route, but I hear what you say.
Look, I know a lot of women don't agree. I know there's a lot of Christian women. I know y'all don't agree.
That's cool. I hear what you say.
But look, when you live a long life, like I've lived and I've seen the things I've seen.
But when you're married, you're married.
That's right. And when you're married, you're married. If I get married with a dude, there's really no excuse. I'm in full force, everything.
So may I interject here?
Wait, before you do that, let me answer the question, because we're talking about men. So let me just answer it. I think Sean's done a great job in answering it. So I'll just add to what he said. And personally, listen, I don't have a problem with these couples not having sex, right? I think what we're talking about when we're talking about intimacy, the sex part is probably the last part, right? But I think what we're seeing is there's no real chemistry between these couples as well. Like, so, I don't see. We've seen it for the past few seasons, right? Like, and let's, like Sean said, I don't think I've ever had this problem. I don't know this problem. Even as a Christian, I don't know this problem, bro. Like, yo, when I get with a girl, listen, we're struggling not to do that thing. So for me, it's I think that's where the confusion kind of sets in. It's like, and I think that comes from the fact that these people are marrying forcibly. This is not their choice. And that's what the problem is, because in that case, they have to build the attraction. They have to build the trust. They have to build the confidence in that person. But what happens is they miss an aspect of dating that we often get when we're dating people. When I meet you and I see you, I automatically go into almost, when we agree to date or agree to see each other, we go into automatic honeymoon phase. We automatically go into it, and what allows us to maneuver in that space is those early door feelings and those early doors pink roses and how we see things. The sexual energy kind of flows, and we can end up going to a space very, very quickly because we chose to go there. I think what these couples are suffering with is that they never got this choice, and then being pushed into a decision. Even though they chose to go on the show, they've been pushed into a relationship with somebody, and now there's none of that. Again, the reason why we fall into physical, sexual kind of intimacy very quickly is because there's a dance that happens, right? When I see you, I feel you, I like you, I'm envisioning our life ahead of each other. I fall in love with your image, right? But we don't get that privilege when you're on the show. right? Because it's revealed to you, and unless you're Michaela and Zack, who found each other exactly attracted on the same level, that's why they've had sex so early.
That's
Rachel and Jose pretty much find each other attractive so early, they've had sex. Those who didn't find each other attractive straight from the jump struggled to go into sexual arena because they never got to have that dance. Now the dance is completely different. There's none of that sultriness and like that little flirtation. Now it's like, I don't know who the heck you are. I don't find you as attractive as I thought I would have. And now I'm trying to maneuver around. You know what I'm saying? So I can get why they're a bit apprehensive in the sexual area because they miss that whole dance that they normally do. But I just genuinely think some of them as well, they don't have that chemistry, dog. They just don't. Because it's 8 days, but it's not our 8 days. They are with each other 24/7. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's part of it as well. So that is coming on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Light wanted to jump in. Light, go for it, Light.
I did. I wanted to just, my perspective of it is that you can have sex without intimacy and you can have intimacy without sex.
Yeah.
Because when you're engaged in the act of sex on a physical level, purely physical level, there are aspects of it that can be devoid. And, when it comes to, communication during the act of sex, that's intimate. That is, are you looking at me? Are we engaging in another way? Are we talking to each other? Or are we just having sex and then we're done and then we can move on? If you're having sex with somebody and you kind of are like, I really don't necessarily want to be, cuddling up after that, or I don't want to touch after that, there may have been an instance where you weren't connecting intimately. But then also, and I'm going to use Brett and Ryan as an example, they actually missed an opportunity to be a little bit closer intimately when they were even talking to Pastor Cal, because they both had a gesture of being of a physical connection. He had his hand in the back of the chair. She had her hand on his knee, but they were not close at all. She was completely removed from him. If they had been side by side, if she had sort of been, resting on his, on his side, while his arm was around, that would have been an indication of intimacy that they could start with. But they're not even starting with the even smallest demonstration of intimacy in any way. I guess you can say that. There was one thing that he did at one point, I can say that I thought was interesting at the time when they were on the honeymoon and all of the couples were around at the table, and I think they were even having a conversation about politics. He did something I thought was really cute. He just sort of ran his fingers down her arm and then took her hand. And that is an indication of intimacy that he's trying to, move forward. And I don't think that she reciprocated that. But in general, they seem to have gone backward from that type of demonstration. So it's a matter of, do you want to be intimate? Are you trying to be intimate? Are you waiting for the other person? What exactly is happening? And maybe it is just a matter of chemistry. Maybe, because he is, sort of annoyed every now and again because of her outward personality, that she's feeling that from him. And so she's nervous to even become a little bit closer with him. I think it's just a matter of them just not putting in an actual concerted, deliberate effort to be intimate. They're just kind of, they're playing their, they're kind of just tiptoeing around each other, and they're doing these little things that are just awkward. They're not actually saying, let's try this, let's do this, or let me move, even in their own mind, let me move closer to her while she's talking. Let me, move closer to him while he's moving this thing or something. There's things that can be done. He did that. And I can't say instances of her doing that except for her hand being on his knee, and that was awkward. His was not awkward. So that's just my perspective of it.
Hearing that loud and clear. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next couple. Good conversation there. Didn't think we can get an hour out of Brett and Ryan, but freaking out, we got an hour. I love it. All right, again, let's move on then to Jose and Jose and Rachel. Sorry, I keep doing that, man. It's really, really bad. Jose and Rachel, they had their conversations Well, about, art versus science, because they had different opinions in the way that they deal with finances has come up once again. But I would say Rachel showed some visceral reactions today. She actually sprinkled a little bit of attitude in some of her reactions today as well. Last week I didn't see that, but this week there was some real attitude that was coming through, a bit of sass in there. Number one, she did it once when the board was there, and she was like, "Oh, about the budget," and she threw a little bit of just a little minor little thing there, and I can't remember where the second one was. And she just threw a little bit of sass. I'll check my notes and I'll say it a little bit later. But she's showing signs of dissension. So she's not about to let him have it his own way today. No, no, no. She's gonna make sure he knows that she's not a walkover and he can't walk over her. Oh, that was it. When she said, "Oh, ha ha ha," to the lack of spontaneity when she was showing him the pot that she goes to holidays with, she was like, "Oh, ha ha ha." And I said, "Oh, girl, you showing that spunk? All right, girl, you let him know that you ain't about to play with nobody. You going on holiday, aren't you? You going on holiday. I love it." What do we think about Rachel and Jose on this particular episode then? Sean is looking away, so he's not involved. Light, go for it.
I'm sorry, I was multitasking. I didn't hear your question.
Oh man, Ray.
This is what I'll say. I like
Kojo, you're ruthless. Just clip me.
Kojo's like, if you're not ready, I'm moving on. Y'all got to be ready though.
Love, bro.
Jose, let me tell you something. I watched the show and then I have to pause. And I paused when Jose showed his budget on the wall. Yo, I got a degree in finance. Okay, I understand. You got a budget. I understand money is important. But a budget on your wall in your bedroom? Who does that? And Sean, don't say you do that. Who does that? You don't have a spreadsheet? You don't have an Excel like software? Who puts a budget on their wall? And when you have guests, people can see all your information. Don't tell me people don't go in your bedroom. They do go into your bedroom. They can see all of your financial planning. Yo, that's mad over the top. However, I like it. I understand it. And if I were to be with a dude, I'd rather be happy with a dude who's over the top with his finances than negligent with his finances, right? Rachel, she has no concept of financial planning, and that's okay. This is probably why they set them up together, because they're opposites, which is, by the way, I don't understand this show. I'm seeing more and more, it's not about the marriage. It seems like it's more about ratings. They're setting people up who are complete opposites that are not going to work. So I don't understand. Isn't the show supposed to be about having real marriages and real, successful stories? Anyway, let's see how this goes. But Rachel and Jose, they had sex. Did y'all see that? They had sex. There was no problem around it. So let's see how this goes. But thus far, the thing that just really made me laugh a lot was the whole budget on the wall. But Rachel has no concept of financial planning, financial priorities. And I get it. She's young. She never had, she's not thinking about that kind of thing. She just wants to travel, live her life. But hopefully she'll adjust now that she's in a marriage.
Beautiful. Sean, go for it. Whiteboard. We're talking about the whiteboard. Is it too much?
No, listen, it's obviously working for him. I mean, if all those figures that are up there are all factual, look, that brother can teach a masterclass and how to manage money. So, look, if it works for him, it works for him. I think, I've said this very early on about Jose. I think he's a little bit of a showboat. He is a little braggadocious,
Yeah.
and he likes to show and tell. So, look, as long as it's backed up by facts, I guess it's okay. I think it shouldn't get to be overboard, where it's all consuming and everything is money. There needs to be a balance. I don't know if we're going to get to Rachel yet, but I would say that, there definitely has to be some balance in it. It can't be like, I'm just going to teach you all day long, because nobody wants to be in a relationship like that, where they're constantly being told and taught and schooled. That's not fun and it's not ideal. So if that's his goal with this whiteboard, he might want to rethink a strategy. You know, if that's just the way he organizes his thoughts and sets up a plan for the future, go for it, bro. Because those numbers look real good to me. I wouldn't mind having that. You know, based on what I saw. You know, so I can't hate if it's all true.
Yeah, but Sean, do you really think that Jose's balanced? Balanced?
I would definitely say that yeah, there's some opportunities for him to definitely be balanced. Now, where that shows up, how it shows up, depends on your partner. Rachel is also lacking in balance. You know,
Mm.
so I think sometimes you have to have a harder approach when someone is very much off kilter. When you're dealing with someone that's coming at you from a place of deficit, you have to have a different plan and a different strategy versus someone who just may have less money with you, but they are good at managing the money that they have. So I think there's different approaches based on each scenario.
Totally hear that. Totally hear that. Light, you want to jump in? We're talking about the whiteboard and Jose. Sorry, Jose, freaking out, man.
Jose with an H. It sounds like an H. Yeah.
Freaking demon.
The whiteboard to me, I actually, personally, I found it, kind of odd that the level of coordination and organization that he claims to have. I'm surprised it was on a whiteboard because I'm a spreadsheet person and everything is just really laid out and calculated and all kind of. But sometimes I overdo things. But I just thought for Jose in general, for me, he's continuing to follow this script that he has. I keep calling it a script because he's got everything sort of laid out as to how his life is going to go and what's going to be done and how they're going to go here and even what's going to be said. And someone in another chat said that he's just looking for a wife to place in there so that she can recite the lines. And that's key for me, is that he needs to make room for the wife in his life to come in with her own expectations. And I think that is a problem with him for the most part. And, what I've been saying is that, they come from it from those two different perspectives. He comes from the perspective of being overly prepared, believe that he's ready, and just, kind of need to plug somebody in there. And Rachel is coming from it with a perspective of fear. She's sort of afraid to lose control. She's afraid to give herself over, surrender to somebody that might not take her, really have her best interest at heart. Right? That's, you can turn yourself over to someone, but if they don't take into consideration what it is that you need and what your desires are for the relationship, it's very hard to be able to surrender to that type of partnership. So I think that's kind of where they need to find a place to understand each other a little bit more, but more so in that case on Jose's side, that he needs to make room for his wife, make room for Rachel. And I'm gonna relanguage that. He has a space for his wife that he has imagined all of this time he's been preparing for his wife, quote unquote. What he has not yet allowed himself was a space to create for Rachel, who, if you're thinking about it, like, let's say as a puzzle, as a puzzle piece fitting into a larger puzzle, he has like a very round space for his wife. But Rachel, of course, and we're going to use that analogy of the creative person, she's got all of these different sides, and she's not, cylindrical, and she's not going to fit into that little circular space that he has for his wife, because she is a different person. He's not really considering all of her needs and desires. He's actually trying to fulfill her happiness or create her happiness based on his own list, his preconceived list of what happiness would look to his quote unquote wife. And I think that at some point, my hope is that he's going to be able to understand that what he's doing is actually hurting her. more than anything. If he is not really seeing her as the individual person that she is, and accepting her as a creative person, and accepting her as, the spontaneous person, an adventurous person, if he doesn't acknowledge and honor those parts of who she is and allow that into the relationship, because right now it's like all him in his own relationship. He needs to allow her into the relationship until he realizes that him not honoring who she is as a person is hurting her and it's hurting the relationship. He's not going to really get anywhere. My hope is that he's going to be able to do that, is to honor her, accept her, and realizing that they can complement each other, but they need to open up to each other first.
Good points. Good points. David, welcome to the conversation.
Hey, bro.
Good. You're at home or you're on a rig?
I'm on the rig.
We love your dedication, bro. What's your thoughts on Rachel and Jose on the whiteboard? I'm gonna say Jose again on the whiteboard.
Firstly, I'm happy that they eventually got it in, so that all the people who are saying he's gay and whatever, they can, chill back, And she didn't complain. She didn't say, "Oh, it was too small, it was too short, or whatever." But so let's just keep that straight. Um, but on a serious note, I think the whole board thing and Jose, to me in general, I think he's just a little bit over the top. He needs to listen to his partner and kind of understand that she feels a bit insecure about the whole money thing, because let's be honest, he has it, and you have it and flaunt it is a good saying for some kind of stuff, but you just need to kind of tone it down a bit and understand, like, okay, she feels a bit insecure about it. How can you make her feel a bit secured in you in that aspect? And then I have a serious concern about the fact that he doesn't like talk to her about what she wants or what she likes or what she's into. He just wakes up like, I've got this plan today. Like, how about my plan? Like, can I also have a say? Can he ask me, like, what do I like to do? What do I enjoy doing? What do I want to go today? And I mean, maybe, the producers say like, oh, okay, um, the guy should organize the event for the woman or whatever. Yeah, that's okay. But, if you want to go to, for example, you like to gym, or you like to go work out or something like that. Yeah, that's okay. We can do that. And then when we're coming back home, I can organize a nice dinner for us in the room, whereby we can all like get together. Hey, that's how people get the good things. When you kind of make the girl happy, and then you also, make yourself happy. I like to eat. I like to, so we go gym, or we go have fun together. And then when we come back, we have a nice dinner. She's happy because she has done what she likes to do, but every time you say like, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do, to me, that's a bit like you're sort of dictating to her. And a lot of ladies nowadays are kind of very, very careful about that. And then the whole whiteboard thing, for me, I think it's just, like I said, showing off. I think he needs to sort of learn how to, like, she feels uncomfortable about it, try and keep it like, okay, fine, she knows, she's the only one who needs to know, like, what if I'm visiting you to come and say, hey, Jose, how you doing today? Why do I have to see your whole credit score and everything on the board? Like, you're just opening yourself up to more, like, people who want to come and hit you over the head and get your money or whatever, that kind of thing. So I think it's just a bit kind of sensitivity. He needs to learn that, okay, she feels a bit this way about it. Let me try to really back in and make her feel a bit more comfortable about it. And, it'd be good. I think, some people are visual. They like to have like everything written out. And I mean, like in my office, sometimes when I'm trying to do some things, I like to write on a board and analyze data and things like that. Some people are visual like that, but, this is something different. This is your finances. This is your, your books and all those kind of things. You don't need to put all that for everyone to see if they just come in to visit you and whatever. So I think he needs to tone that down. And like it's been said before, it's good that he has his finances in order. It's good that he has everything set up that way. It's beneficial. I mean, like what Ray was saying, you rather want to be with a guy who has the money as opposed to a guy who's struggling and you guys are having, hamburger help me and whatever. you want someone who has the money to take care of you and stuff like that. So obviously that's a plus for him, but just needs to reel it in a bit.
Good points there, David. Good points there, David. Thank you. The whiteboard. Hold on, I'm chewing on. Not a good look, is it? Sorry. Yeah. So, I just like to chew stuff. Sorry, my bad. That sounds wrong. Anyway, yeah, no. With the David, with the Jose situation. I mean, I guess with the whiteboard situation, I don't think it's that bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, I mean, I know Ray's like seeing a whiteboard is kind of mad, but remember, he lives alone, first and foremost. Okay, so you don't have to think about anybody else. And number two, it's just good for visuals. You know what I mean? It's just good for visuals. It makes it easier to break it down. Now, my concern was how Rachel saw the board and started having an exorcism right there and then. Like, she almost lost the Holy Ghost that was within her body when she saw the whiteboard. That tells me, yeah, instantly we have a problem in Houston. Yeah, and I don't mean the one when we're going to space. I'm talking about the actual place. See, we've got an actual problem. Okay, because you cannot look at that board and be absolutely shook to life to think, I'm never going to spend again. You've got problems spending, Rach. You know, we have genuine problems with our spending, Rachel. Okay, you spend money and you go on holidays, no problem. I've got no problem with her spending. I actually think she's really good for Jose, because I think he needs to be able to loosen the purse strings. And I was reading Art Seduction today, and it was talking about the fact that it is very anti-seductive to be tight-fisted, meaning not that you can't be budget or you can't be well moderate in the way you handle your finances, but you can't be tight-fisted. It's ugly. Okay, it's ungenerous and it doesn't show a level of attraction and generosity. And what the author was saying, that if you're going to be so tight-fisted in finances, more than likely you're going to be tight-fisted elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, so I think we make that distinction between being tight-fisted and someone who's being very careful about how they spend money. I think sometimes he goes onto a tight-fisted side of things sometimes when he's dealing with Rachel, right? But I definitely have to say, Rachel, if you saw that board, and here's my thing, people who spend money, the reason why when they see that board get shook is because they've never looked at an actual budget. They've never looked at what they've spent. They are horrified when they look at what they spent, right? So she does need to have that reality check and see it. So I'm glad she was triggered when she saw the board and said, oh my God, right? Because you need it, right? Because you are a grown woman now. Okay, you handle your finances. You probably get paid a pretty decent amount. There is no reason for you to be spending on holidays on your credit card and you can't pay it off and et cetera, right? It shouldn't be that case. So I think both of them are going to need to come into play there. I didn't see anything wrong with the whiteboard because he lives on his own. He might want to maybe change that for him living with Rachel, or they can agree maybe they can put it in a mutual room, right? Rather than being in a bedroom, it can be in a room where it's separate. We can go in there, we can be inspired and look at what we're going to do. I do need him though to open up the budget to holidays. It is ugly to not want to open up the budget to holidays. I'm sorry, I know you want to save your money, pay off your debts and everything like that. Pay it off, but you only live once. You will die and you won't take your budget with you and you won't take your money with you. So let's enjoy a little bit of life, okay? And prosper. You know what I'm saying? But go for it, Sean. You want to say something?
So I would add to that. I don't know if you caught it, but Rachel's car is now broken and either needs to be replaced or repaired.
Oh.
So this is where Jose's financial acumen is going to come in handy. And you know where her conversation was? And he said, you know, listen, we need a new car. You need a new car. Your car's not working. She's like, oh, forget the car. I still want to go. And this is why I take such a strong approach and not pushing the Switzerland trip. And again, he said no to Switzerland. He didn't say no to a trip. He just said the destination needs to be changed. And she has to learn how to prioritize, right? So let's get your car fixed. You're trying to get across the country, ma'am, and you can't even get around the corner to get to work because your car's broken. And you're willing to sacrifice and still put yourself further in debt to go on yet another trip when you still got issues with your car. We got to get the basics. We got to crawl before we start running. She wants to run. So that's my issue with her. I'm not saying it's a no ever for Switzerland, but we have to understand and work together. And maybe it's not me that leads the conversation. Maybe we got to get in front of some type of counselor, somebody that has some level of financial expertise outside of me, because you can't hear what I'm saying because you personalize it. But like, sis, if your credit is struggling, you've spent excessive amounts of money traveling, you've done a lot of traveling already, your car is broken, like you don't budget, you freeze up and freeze when you see a budget in front of you. Like, I think we got to fix that. Yes, Jose needs to talk, fix his approach. He was very me, and I heard that. Like, I want a pool table on the second floor of the room, and I want this, and I want that. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that stuff you got to kind of that has to come down. It's not just your world, and we got to work at it together. But Rachel also needs to come down too and start to really do some real work to get her finances in line.
I just have a real quick question. I don't remember, Sean, her saying that the car was broken. I remember him saying that she needed a new car. And when I heard that, I interpreted that as her car was old and that he wanted to get her something upgraded. I mean, did you hear him? Did you hear any of them say specifically that her car was
Yes.
not?
Yes, I heard her say like the car does not need to be fixed. It's not important. That's what I heard.
But,
And
I mean,
and
it was
again,
not.
I didn't get the interpretation like she just needs a better car. I heard her car was not working well and needed to be repaired.
But if she's saying the car doesn't need to be fixed, I hear that you're interpreting it as the car can stay broken. What I heard, when I hear it doesn't need to be fixed, is that there's no repairs needed, so I don't need to. I'm like that. If my car is not broken, I don't necessarily need to get a new car. I'm gonna run my car because I don't have any payments on it. So if my car is not broken, I'm not gonna update it right now. And that's the differentiation that I'm asking about. She said it doesn't need to be fixed. Was it that we don't need to get the repairs because I want to go on this trip, or the car does not need repairs, so we don't need to update it right now? Is there a differentiation that you can pinpoint?
She said they needed a certain amount of money to get it fixed. I mean, I would have to go back and run the whole tape to check it out, but it's obviously the car is in some need of disrepair. And that to me is a prioritization. It's not like you're choosing between groceries and fixing the car. You're choosing between a trip, which is a luxury, and fixing your car, which I don't care what level, if you can keep running it till the wheels fall off, why would you want to prioritize a trip when you need a vehicle to get around? It is a necessity, especially in Texas. They don't live in New York City or some place where there's major transportation, right? So that's different. You need the car to get to and from work. So look, you can split it either way. Sure. Could she walk around with a car not being in its optimal care? Of course, she could keep doing that.
David, do you want to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think one thing we forgotten is that Rachel actually said she wanted someone who was financially sound, financially stable. Okay, someone who's good with finances. So there's this situation where people, they say, be careful what you ask for because you might get it, and sometimes we ask for blessings from God and we get those blessings, but we're not ready for how to handle those blessings. I think Rachel's gotten what she said she wanted, and now she's backing down or having a hard time with it because she doesn't want to take the learning. She doesn't want to take the humility. You know what I'm saying? Someone else will see that board and say, "Wow, man, my man is loaded. I'm inspired. How did you do all this? I want to be like you, bro. Show me the way." But she just went into this whole insecurity, kind of, I'm scared, I'm worried. Oh, this bro got so much money. I mean, like, how can you see all that and then become kind of, caved in that way? So I think she's just in that position where she's gotten what she wanted, and now she's kind of scared and not able to humble herself to handle it. And that is to me a problem, because you need to also understand, this is finances. If you look at one of the three main things that affect marriages today: finance is one of the big things. So it's important that you learn how to actually work together in tandem with your partner on such a topic, and not just be like, you know what, if I love her, I'm gonna buy her a car. Come on, like, if I love her, I'm gonna buy a car. Like, how does that make sense when she's not handling her finances well and taking things in order? You don't have a car to move around and things like that, but then you want to go on some trip to Switzerland and you want to do all these kind of things. I don't think that's the way you should live life. You need to prioritize and do things in the right way. And if you're not going to learn from your partner and be humble to say, oh, okay, show me how to do this, show me how to put things in order, then now you want to go and spend money and get a financial analyst to come and help you understand your accounts. Like, how does that make any sense? So she needs to really like listen to Jose. Yes, he needs to tone it down a bit and understand, like, okay, if you're a boss at work, if I work with like my subordinate and I give them orders, move this here, do this there, do this there, I can't. If I'm working with my wife, those guys, or working with my partner, those guys in Hollywood, they'll tell you when they're on set, they can't be telling their partner like, yeah, move this there, move that there, because it's a different kind of relationship. You have to understand that we're different. Same thing, if she gets a financial analyst, you'll be surprised. He's going to tell her everything Jose is telling her in terms of original finances. But he now wants to understand, okay, this is my partner. I need to soft pedal it a bit and kind of, cater to her. There was something that this couple from Ready to Love said when you had them on, Kojo. The guy was like, oh, you've been finessing me. And that's something that people learn to do in a relationship. You sort of like warm your way through to get the point across your partner, but in a kind of subtle way, so that they don't kind of see it like you're dictating to them, or you're, lauding them around and things like that. And I think that's where you need to just learn how to be a bit, kind of sweet with it and kind of understand that way. And that's just the point.
Love that. Love that. Thank you very much. Just to show you the whiteboard, I actually got a picture. I went onto Reddit real quick. I got you the little whiteboard for you guys, just to show you the whiteboard. Okay, guys, sometimes I like to show the visuals. Let me bring this for you. Here we go. Here's the whiteboard. Let me get it a bit bigger for you so you can actually see. All right. It's a very good whiteboard. He's put some, I don't know if you guys can see it yet. Hold on. Is it too small? Let me do it this way. Is it too small? There we go. All right, listen, it's a lot. Listen, I think it's a very good breakdown. Okay, I think Rachel needs to get on this whiteboard. I think she needs to break down what she needs. If the car takes 3K to fix, sis, and you don't have 3K to fix, then we have to ask the question, sis, we're going to need you to get on the program. Okay, we need you to get on the program that Jose is running and start learning how to. Look, money is very tough because people see it as security or freedom. Obviously, Rachel sees money as freedom. Clipping her wings completely is never going to work because that will feel like she's no longer free. So Jose needs to work with her. And I think it's a very simple mathematical equation. Since he can be so tidy to plan his whole life decades in advance, he can be easily provide a budget spend for Switzerland. That for me, there's no beef on this. Like, honestly, plan Switzerland for 2-3 years time, just that simple. And then say, look, in between that time, we can have one little holiday here. That's how much it's going to cost, right? And I think that's how it should be done. Just simple as that. But Ray, you're going to say something.
Y'all kill me with this stuff. It's like, I can't. Like, we don't even know what her real finances are. We don't even know. Does she have $100,000 in school debt?
She definitely doesn't.
Does she? You know what I'm saying? Does she have a credit score of 500? I mean, like we don't even know her situation. She has a car that needs to be fixed for $3,000. If she doesn't want to fix her car, if she wants to walk, tippy toe, ballerina dance, rollerblade, or bike rides, wherever she wants to bike ride, so she can do this trip, let her. I don't understand. This Jose guy got all this money, all this stuff, all this, and he's stressing her over $3,000 to go to Switzerland. And you want her to be popping out babies before she goes to Switzerland? Bump that. I want to go to Switzerland, and I'm not paying for it. You're going to pay for it, and you're going to pay for my car, since you have it all together. How about that?
That sounds like a single mentality to me.
Look, let me say this.
Get close.
All these people going to be single at the end. Okay? Everybody. All right? Because nobody's listening to anybody, and nobody's trying to be of service to anyone. Okay? But I have been in long-term relationships. I've lived with men. I've shared money. I've done it all. And I'm financially savvy. And that Jose dude, yo, you can't be talking, you all savvy, you this, blah, 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 and you bite tight. You mad with your money. Stop it. She's about to be popping out babies for you. If she wants to go on a trip with you, go and go now. He has enough savvy, enough money to make it happen. Please. This chickie might have no debt. Her only issue is her car, and we riding her like this? Come on.
But Ray, no, she said it. She's not financially together, Ray. And I'm with you. And after seeing that whiteboard, Kojo, we can plan for it for sure. But nobody works all hard for somebody to start squandering their money. So what can very well happen is if we just go on and entertain every idea that Rachel has because she's shown signs of mismanaging her money and not being together. Hello, she also asked for someone who was better at managing their finances than her, which is what she got. That could very well derail all of his financial plans because we'll see the whiteboard. Well, oh, you got 10,000 for this and 10,000 for that and 5,000 for this, and before you know it, the money is not in its right place. So I do think it should be open dialogue and discussion about how we get things and what things are priority. But as I'm hearing more and more from Rachel, it seems like there's a lot of things that need to be fixed first and plan for the things that aren't necessary later down the line. And it could be 1 year, it could be 6 months, it could be 9 months. I'm not sure. However, those things need to be pushed further back, and the things that are more important need to be prioritized. Let's work together to help you pay off your credit card debt that you've racked up traveling every month. Right? Let's work together.
How do we know she has credit card debt? Did she say that? She
yes.
She said she has tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt from
I didn't
traveling.
say $1, Ray, but she says that she has been putting all her travel on her credit cards. That's what she shared.
She also said that her credit was not that great. But
absolutely.
The perspective of it is I think that Rachel's reservation about letting him take over the credit is because he has dismissed her initiation of the trip. Right? If it's one thing to say, okay, if we're gonna put, like Kojo said, I had that same thought. Just put the Switzerland trip on the board as one of the expenses that you contribute to every month and you build toward that. You can continue to do that while you repair her credit. But he is not entertaining the possibility of the trips that she wants. He is dictating the trips that he has in his script. He's got his business plan set up for his marriage. We can go to Vegas and we can go to New York, but we're not going anywhere abroad. That was his expectation coming into the marriage. He has not entertained any of the thoughts that she had about where they could go. If he would budge just a little bit and say, let's put Switzerland on the board, then she might say, okay, I'll be happy with that. Then yes, while we're saving for the trip, let's get my car fixed, or let's get me an updated car. He can't completely dismiss everything that she wants, even though, Sean, I know that you're right. And I know this because I had to come into a better financial space as well. I, in my younger life, was terrible with finances. And my family are families of bankers. And I'm a creative person. And I was terrible. And I actually had to learn to do this. And I had to surrender myself to their guidance. And that's hard to do, to say, I know that I want, to have some accountability and I want some guidance, but it's hard to have somebody say, you can't buy pizza. It's hard, but it really does come down to, are you taking my needs into consideration, the things that are priority for me to work towards? And one of those things happens to be Switzerland. Yes, one of those things absolutely should be her car. She needs to have a car to be able to get around. I would not want her to be hopping on any public transportation if she has the opportunity to get her car fixed. I don't think Switzerland should be the priority over a car that she can get to work. But I think that him dismissing her completely and not taking anything that she feels into consideration in those respects is the reason that she keeps putting up the blockades.
Doesn't Jose have many cars? Can he give her a car? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Jose got all this yapping talking about. I have a degree in finance and I have a degree in opera. So maybe that's why I'm the way I am. I have a left brain and a right brain, and both function powerfully at the same time. And I can't see why both can be true. Why can't they go to Switzerland? I don't understand. And for some people, traveling is a source of education. Traveling is a source of therapy. Traveling is a source of healing. It's not like she's asking to buy some diamonds. It's not like she's asking to buy some Louis Vuittons. It's not like she's asking to buy some purses. She's asking to travel with her husband before she has babies. Like, I don't. And they can still continue to work on her money, and they can still continue to work on her finances since he's so savvy, since he's so brilliant. Come on.
Can I say that the way ladies tend to kind of hold off a bit with sex is a little bit the way guys kind of hold off with money.
Oh, I like that.
Just understand that.
David.
He should say that again. That's very honest. Say that again, David. Tell the truth,
Keep quiet,
David.
David. Keep quiet.
Tell the truth, David. Say that again, David.
Well, I think maybe you should ask Kojo can share this on his dark arts, because I'm sure he knows how to. But the truth is, honestly, I'm just gonna buy you a $5 lemonade if I'm just meeting you for the first time and I'm just checking you out, believe it or not. Hey, that's the reality. I'm not gonna be buying you no Louis Vuitton or whatever. If just show me a little bit, the color of the thing a little bit, so I know that something's coming up at the end of the night. Maybe I might get motivated to do something. But if I can't even see, the color of your blouse or what, hey, no, come on. I'm not shelling out my cash for nothing. For all he cares, you guys are saying, oh, can he not buy a car? He has all this money. The reason why he has all this money is because he hasn't been buying all the girls that's been dating cars. Get that right, okay? If he's buying everybody cars, he won't have 850 score. Please, come on, relax.
But David, this is his wife, David. This is his wife, David. This is his wife.
Well, if this is his wife, what is she making? Let her also make the concessions for what he wants, and also do whatever he wants. Come on, that's the reality of it. Like, I mean, we have to come to some kind of understanding here. Because I married you, we have to keep in mind again, they're strangers. Okay, because I married you doesn't mean I'm gonna take you to Geico and then buy you a car. Like, come on, like, no way, that's not gonna happen. Okay,
and just because we married, I ain't opening up my legs and giving you punani either. Praise Goddess.
We're fair. We're even. Hey, we're even. You go in one leg, I go one leg. It's simple. It's the reality of things. I mean, So especially when he knows that she's not good with money, then he's gonna go buy a car. Like, how does that make sense? Like, because I have the money doesn't mean I'm just going to spend it. You look at all the rich guys we have today. Part of the reason why they're rich, or they stay rich, because they don't spend the money the way some of us spend money. They use their money wisely. So someone's not just going to go and buy a car for a girl because now he got married to her. For whatever he cares on decision days, he might say no. Then what happens to the car?
But then David, doesn't he have many cars?
Then what happens to the money I've spent?
But David, he has many cars, doesn't he?
Where did you see that, Ray? Where did you see
many cars? That's what he said. He said, I got houses, I got cars, I've done all this to prepare for my wife. Well, give her a car.
I didn't hear that, but okay.
Give her one of your cars.
I think the thing about the houses, and this is my I'm suspecting that this is the case, my speculation. I think the houses were not just, I got all kinds of houses to go visit. I think he's got he has two houses, his own and maybe his mom's. That's what I'm expecting. If he's got another car, it might be for his mom or for a sister or somebody. It could be, he's the type that my speculation that he is taking care of his family also. So, that's another aspect of it where it comes to why I understand he's really stringent with his money, because he seems to be a person who is like, I'm going to take care of my family. I think, for me, he's like really, really way too impressed with himself. But I think there's the aspect of that is that I'm the one that's doing this. I'm the one that rose up. I'm the one that's got everybody covered. I'm the one. So if he's bringing in a wife that is not really willing to take all of that into consideration, he may be considering the effect not only to himself, but for the rest of his family. But I do want to interject one other thing is that, this is kind of going backwards, but what she is trying to develop in her life is a set of experiences. And that is what Pastor Cal said. And it was like on the money for me. instead of, really, vacations, holidays, as they say in the UK, those are really escapes from your own life, from the daily grind of your life. But they're also an experience that you can take forever. You can give somebody a gift, and it's like, that's really great and nice to look at, but you'll always have that memory. I think that's what she's trying to do for herself. Now, I wonder if she's going on so many of these trips because she can't face her life. The possibility is because she can't face dealing with the finances that she doesn't know how to deal with. That's a real possibility. But it is something to consider, that she just, she's really thinking about having experiences not just for her, but with her husband. And that is what he's not connecting. So those two things about his complete and overall practicality is coming against her trying to have a fulfillment of life, a quality of life.
And Light, I would agree with you, but it's just at what expense? And what Kojo shared, I think, is the meeting in the middle on this thing. We can't go so far to the extreme where we're entertaining something that's going to undo Jose financially just to please Rachel for things that aren't priorities, right? So at the end of the day, yeah, can we do a trip? But it needs to be planned out. And let's look at what are the things that are more immediate that need to be taken care of first. And then next steps, we can look at the trip and the timing of how realistic that can be. That's it. And I think we're all on the same page. Nobody's trying to cage Rachel into the house and not let her go anywhere, especially if Jose is financially wealthy. But it's, how comfortable is he with spending his money on those things? And how can they work together to bridge the gap where we're just not letting money fly out the window and we're prioritizing things? So that's where I think we got to meet each other in the middle. And it can't be an all or nothing kind of thing.
Well, I agree with that, because I do see, agree that they are at the opposite ends of the extreme. They're opposite ends of the spectrum. And what I believe has to happen for them is that they do have to meet in the middle. They both have to compromise. They both have to recognize and acknowledge who the other person is really under all of the stuff that they are discussing. They have to get to the bottom of motivation. And, why are you this way? Because then that's what they need to have fulfilled. He needs to have fulfilled that his family is taken care of, in my opinion. She needs to have fulfilled that, she's doing something more than the daily grind. They have to come together. But, as we continue to say, it's only been 10 days. My hope is that by the end of the process, they have come to a better understanding and they both realize that they need to compromise. And, I think that Jose is going to have a bigger problem with that than Rachel is. I think Rachel would be okay to compromise if Jose would take his head out of his script. Like everything else, he has planned everything out, and he's not planned for the person that she is. I think he's the one that has to come the further place. But I agree with you that they both have to compromise and come together in the middle.
Yeah, I definitely hear, and to be honest, I do. I hear both sides. Both of you guys have said the right side. I think what is difficult for perhaps, I would say, for Jose to really trust, and for Rachel to trust Jose, and vice versa, is the fact that they're joining their accounts together. They're joining their forces, their finances together. So actually now anything you do now begins to undo or push us forward, right? So for Jose, he is putting his money together with Rachel, and what he's going to see is you're draining the account. For the other person, Rachel, she's seeing that he's going to control the finances. And I think that's where both parties are finding it tough to relinquish the control. I would say it's better someone be tight than somebody who spends the purse strings. Why? Because if that person does not know how to handle spending, they will undo you and everybody else in the household. At least somebody who's tight, you will always be safe, even if you don't you don't get to live life the way you want to. But I definitely feel they have to come to a happy medium in order to move forward. I think Jose's problem here is this: until Rachel shows him a financial IQ, he's never going to trust her with the purse strings, and he's never going to acknowledge her dreams, because always what he's going to see is you're irresponsible. You're irresponsible, right? And somebody who's irresponsible with finances, you don't trust them with money. You just don't. You give them an allowance and you say, handle that, and that's what you got to handle, and we move forward, right? But that would look controlling from Rachel's perspective. And I would understand that from her perspective. And this is the fight they're going to honestly have. Someone's going to have to cave in first. Someone's got to actually cave in first. And this is where it's going to be really difficult. Someone's got to go. You know what I mean? In order for them to move forward effectively. So I think we're going to see that over the next few weeks. We're going to see that battle for power, and not in necessarily a bad way, but it's just because we've all got our perspectives on this issue from Jose and Rachel's side. I think they're both going to be battling to see who will give up first so that we can go forward. But I think if honestly, Jose needs to release the purse strings a little bit. But I think if she learns how to handle her finances, he can't say ish. He honestly will have to keep quiet, because she'll be able to tell him, no, I've handled my finances. I know exactly what I pay out. I know exactly what goes in. I know exactly what goes out. And I know how much I have at the end of the month. Therefore, I can put £200 into that savings account, or £300 into that savings account that goes towards that holiday. So now you can't tell me we can't afford Switzerland, because I've worked it out. And that's the issue. You see, something my dad said to me, he said, I look for my children to come and bring solutions. Because when I have to feed you all the time, when will you learn how to feed for yourself? If I'm feeding you every single time, when will you fish? When will you fish? I can't fish for you all the time. You have to show me at a point in time that you are grown, that you are an adult, and you can make decisions on your own. And I think Rachel's at a point now where you are 20 plus, almost 30 plus, if not 30 plus, right? Grown. When it comes to finances, if you feel like this guy's going to control, you need to learn how to handle finances. And this is not something that we're asking you to do financial accounts. We're asking you how to handle money. How do you spend it? Sit down with your finances and look at it monthly. Here's what I spend, and here's how much I have at the end of the month. Present that to Jose and say, hey, look. I'm not gonna lie to you, Switzerland's happening, okay? But I gotta work it out. I worked it out. It takes me 2 years to get to this particular finances. That's how we go, right? But if we keep going, if Rachel keeps coming with this energy of I want to go to Switzerland and hasn't worked it out, this guy's gonna say, well, you haven't worked it out, so we're not going to Switzerland.
But he can work it out. That's the thing. He can show her how to work it out. The problem
It doesn't
is
solve the issue, though. The issue is not solved. Like,
I agree with that, because this is the thing. I'm gonna, lay myself bare, as I always do. Is that when I was younger, like I said, I was not financially savvy. I'm really not that financially savvy. When I started my business 13 years ago, my mother, who is a financial person, is she's way high up in a well-known bank here. She was before she retired. She was my CFO. She was like, she took over. She was like, you can't do any of this stuff, that. And I'm a very spontaneous person, so that was difficult. What she and my brother did, the mediator of the family, sat me down and showed me how to do this. And, ironically, I do it really well for work, right? But, finances and things like that, budgets and things like that. But for myself, I was very relaxed because I knew I didn't have those restraints. But they did show me how to be able to be financially independent, be financially savvy, and really make sure that my business was always in the black without having to lay a lot of restrictions on myself. The difference between my mom and I were the difference between Jose and Rachel. They, I think, are going to need a mediator to say, you are really on two different planes financially. Let's try to figure out how we can come together. The problem with that suggestion would be that Jose is very, very proud of the way he has handled his finances.
Yes, I agree.
He might not be open to someone else suggesting a way for them to do it together. But if he can't figure it out, if he can't find a way to let her into his financial life, and I don't mean the money, I mean the process of it, then that's where the problem is going to be. And we said that during when we first talked about Switzerland, when they were in the bedroom on the honeymoon, and he just said, no, we're not going to do that. if he can just just accept that she is doing this, like you said, make it a part of their life that they're planning for it. It doesn't have to be we're going next week. It can be 3 years from now. But I think he's the one that's going to have to um, he's going to have to break a little bit. I think he's going to be the one that's going to have to do it first because he's the one that's going to be in control. The leader has to be able to take into account the needs of the people that are depending on him to lead. If he's leading without consideration, that's like on any job, that's like in any family. If you're leading and you don't care what the other people think, you don't care how the other people are being impacted emotionally, then you're not leading well. You said this, was it you that said that the other day? That, to be a leader, that you have to have humility. That is what he's lacking in the marriage. But again, it's only been 10 days. So we just have to keep ourselves to see what happens after 8 weeks.
I think Happy Princess in the comment has said it. What I'm trying to say, which is, our pride is getting in the way. I think Light. One thing you're not saying is this: for you to be a leader, you need to have followers who want to follow.
Oh.
Even if you're a good leader, if people don't want to follow you, you're just taking a stroll.
I don't agree with that.
You're just walking. No. The reality is this: if people don't want to follow you, there's a reason why sometimes you see some establishment, they try to put someone who is within there, someone who has grown through the ranks in that company to be a head of department. The reason why that happens is this: there's a culture that's already been built. That person understands the way the culture is. When someone comes from outside, sometimes people initially fight against that person because they're like, you're not part of us, you don't understand what's going on here. Somebody I might be the leader of a team and I like us to go for lunch, go and hang out together, have fun together. Another leader can come in and say, no, why are you guys having fun? This is an office, blah, blah, blah. But that's how I keep the camaraderie. That's how I keep the atmosphere. And so when the new leader comes in, people are like, who is this one just trying to boss us around? They don't want to follow. He might be the best leader. He might be able to raise the financial whatever of the company, but they don't want to follow. And that's the reality of things. You are able to listen to your mom and your brother because they're family. I've dated a girl before who she would prefer to actually let us do the thing together. Like, for example, the doctor said, oh, okay, come over and whatever, we're gonna do this, take some drugs, for example, just an example. She's like, no, let me go and take it at home. Let me go and take it together with my boyfriend or whatever. The reason why is because I won't force her and say, come on, will you drink it now? Or whatever. But the doctor will be looking at her like, madam, you're 20 something years old. What's wrong with you? Would you just down these drugs and move forward? Because that outsider person is not going to be treating you like some baby. They're going to tell you straight away. And the problem is this: she doesn't want to listen to Jose because she feels like he's my husband, he's my whatever. So he needs to, be nice with me. He needs to take it, whatever. That financial person is gonna tell her the same thing that Jose is saying, which is what Sean is saying, which is you need to prioritize. You need to put your car first. You need to put your finances in order. You need to do things right. But because it's her husband telling her, she's like, oh, why do you want to control me? Why do you want to do this? When your mom is telling you to do this in your finances, why don't you see that as control? When your brother is telling you this is how you should do your finances, why is that not control? Do you
They
see the point?
tried.
You see the point? It's about being humble to listen to this person, even though you feel like, oh, this is my partner, I want them to whatever. You need to listen to them and be inspired by the fact that, you know what, the person is doing well. If I'm with Kojo and I've got like 10 followers or whatever, and he's got, hey, bro, show me the way. How do you do it? It doesn't matter if we come from Africa together or if we're black together or if we're in the UK together. Who cares? The point is, I want to learn. I want to get better and get to where he is. So why not listen? And now we have to spend money to go and get some financial analysts to start telling us how to do whatever that my husband knows how to do. It's like me being in the university and then sitting in the 10th grade class. I'm like, okay, let's just move over and let's just get this done with. Because, like, I know what you're talking about. I understand. Well, if she would listen to me, we would have actually made some progress. But she wants to come and spend this money to you. And yeah, let's spend the money and have the analyst tell us whatever it is that we already know. I mean, Just why? It's like when ladies talk about, like, raising a kid, a little baby. When you have a baby, a woman has all the innate maternity traits and how to nurse that baby, how to hold that baby, how to feed that baby. The man might not know. And the truth is, when they first have that baby, there will be a lot of disagreement. Why? Because she'll be telling him, you're not holding the baby right. You're not doing this right. That's not how you wash the bottle. That's not how you. The man has to humble himself and listen to his wife and say, okay, babe, tell me how to do it. She might not say it the right way, but then you have to listen and say, okay, babe, can you just tone it down a bit? Tell me how to do it. Okay, show me how to. That's humility. That's listening. That's learning from each other. Not saying, why? Let's go and get some nanny to come and show us how, or let's go and get the dog. Like, how does that even make any sense? Why can't I learn from my partner and she learn from me? What's the issue there? I don't see the point. Like, yeah, I've agreed. He needs to learn how to finesse and tone it down a bit and be a bit more, accommodating and present his case in a very nice way. But all this kind of like, now we have to get someone else to come in and I don't want to listen. As a mother and her sister said, she's disorganized. They said, have you seen her car? They said, have you seen her house? Come on. Like, come on. These are people who are supposed to be trooping for you, and they're pointing out, like, these are some of your, laxities and things you have to work on. So if you now get someone who wants to help you, why can't you just listen? And like, it's just pretty straightforward. I don't see why it should be an issue of now we're going to get some kind of person to come and teach us how to manage our finances and whatever. We said all the things, take off the board from the kitchen room and whatever and all those kind of things. But let's not, like, make a mountain out of a molehill. Like, it's pretty straightforward here. I don't see. If not, let her go and look for a broke guy and deal with. Maybe that will solve the problem.
Well, I just have to rebut that idea about the leader that some people just don't follow. I agree with that. There's some people that are just not going to get on board. But I mean, I've had to be in that position because, one part of my business is being a consultant, right? For, events and for different things. And even another part is like proposals and things. And having to lead a team of people that didn't know you, you're coming into the situation and you're saying, okay, this is not working for you guys, but let me, offer, my recommendations here for what we can do. There are often people that are like, well, you're coming into a situation, you're not even a part of our group. Why should we listen to you? You don't even know us. For me, my strategy is always to approach them, as you said, David, with humility, which I don't think Jose has a lot of at this point. Approach them with humility and find out what is important to them in the situation, what their goals are, what they want to accomplish. Incorporating their insights into my planning is a big deal because in order for them to be on board, they have to believe that they're a part of the process. And what happens is that they say, they turn around and they say, well, thank you, because we really weren't being heard before. We didn't feel that we had an open space to speak to people. That is the first thing I do when I get on the phone with them, or I'm, at this point, that's what we're doing a lot, is just to say, talk to me about you. Talk to me about how you fit into this organization. Talk to me about what your segment of this planning is supposed to be, and let me see how I can enhance that. I don't believe that David has that kind of humility. I mean, when I go into it, I'm like, tell me. I want to know. I don't know everything. I want to know your suggestions. I want to know what you think. And then they were going to listen to me. Jose is not having that humility at this point. He is following his own script and his own plan, and he is not letting her in. I think that is the most issue right there. I agree with everybody that they have to come together. Maybe that, having them have a third person come in, maybe that's a little bit too much. But
okay. Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
Wait. We're moving on to Baron Johnny.
Just one last thing, please.
30 seconds.
Thank God.
30 seconds.
Of course, I can do it. So one, when you're managing people, you have to manage the employee to their strengths. If they are at a deficit or underperforming, you have to manage them as such. If somebody is performing at an optimal level or performing at their level, then they are managed a different way. Last point, this is why so many marriages end in divorce, because finances we never get in the middle and everybody's on polar opposite sides. Back to you, coach.
Managing somebody
Appreciate
to
that.
the
Appreciate that.
experience
Wait,
that
la, la,
you
la,
have.
la, 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 light. We're moving on.
That's it. That's all.
Moving on. Sorry, moving on because we've done an hour on them, so that's good. All right, cool. Bow on Johnny. All right. Bow on Johnny. We had a conversation about Bow on Johnny. I didn't think we had a conversation. Bow on Johnny had a conversation at the very end about what he said about the about the kiddie energy that she brings to the table when she's happy. I saw Reddit was flying off the handle. They want to lynch Johnny by the neck and by the balls. So I wanted to kind of get you guys thoughts around Johnny kind of saying what he said to Bao about the kiddie energy of her happiness. Did we buy it? Could we see his point of view, or was he moving absolutely mad? Ray, you're open. Go for it.
He was moving absolutely mad.
Okay.
And nothing that Johnny has done, that Bao has done, is in comparison to Johnny's madness. And I don't care what Johnny said. I don't care what he's thinking. When it counted, he was out. Okay. And then he wants to talk about he don't like this girl. Think about it, guys. Think about it. They dated years ago and he ghosted her. This is why production put that edit in. He ghosted her years ago. He's not into this girl. Come on. And now he's talking about kiddie. You know how many men love kiddie behavior? You know how many men love that? Look, Coach, maybe you don't like it. Maybe Sean don't like it. Maybe
Not when I'm
David
trying to
don't
get
like
some
it.
booty. Not when I'm trying to get some booty, please.
Okay.
No playing when I'm trying to get some booty.
You see, this is my point. So men
This is
want
serious business.
so men want women who are cooperative. Men want women who are slow with giving up the punani, but know when to give it the punani. Men want this, men want that. Jesus Christ. And when women want something, we want too much. Okay. So what? So if she's too quick to go down on him, if she's too sexy, then he's like, oh my God, how'd she get all this experience? Oh my God, she must be doing this with somebody else. Oh my God, how'd she get this good? Oh my God, she licked me this way. If she learned this from somebody else, I see Sean went away. Sean is scared. Oh my God. Okay, so I don't want to hear it. Johnny left. He shouldn't have left. This is a marriage. I can't even get past that, Kojo. I can't talk about anything but that. That really irked me when he was like, I got to go away. I need some time. This is a marriage. Okay? Imagine if a woman was like, I'm feeling pressured. I'm feeling like you're forcing me to have sex. I need time to think and go away. Stop it. This is a marriage. So all these things he's talking about, her not showering, her snoring. Oh my God, did you see her snoring on the plane? Praise Goddess. All these things he's talking about are excuses. Okay? Because Johnny wants out. Anyway, we'll start there.
You know, Johnny is a runner, right? He's already sort of, admitted that. He's confessed that he runs and away from the situation really quickly. For me, I think, we're going to get into the heat of it, I'm sure, but I think for him being somebody pointed this out on Maria's channel yesterday, he's a germaphobe who is faced with a wife who doesn't like to shower. And we can get deeper on that later, but that is a problem for a lot of people, especially for me, I won't go too deep right now, Kojo, but that is just another barrier. She put up a physical barrier between them, and not showering, knowing that he wants to get close to her, in my opinion, is another barrier. So I think the idea of that has made him say, this is something I got to think about. There are certain things in these relationships that are basic relationship things that are not uncommon. And then there are certain things where you have to sit back and say, oh my gosh, how much do I want to deal with this? I think the showering part is one of them.
He can he can have all these kinds of issues, but this is marriage. Oh, look, all the men on the panel, like, where's the physical intimacy? Especially Sean, where is this? Where is that? We married. So you married. Stick it through. deal with your wife, talk about it. If you need some space, go for a walk, but you don't bounce like that. Yo, just like Gil, we're talking about Merla the other day, talking about her, that's a deal breaker. And Johnny walking away like that, deal breaker.
But he did
Yeah.
come back. And I want to ask you guys, do you guys remember we had this whole debate last season about when Vincent left and what the difference might be for you guys? Because for me, there was a difference. But he did come back.
Yeah, I think he did come back. For me, I think maybe he probably shouldn't have left, because when you have
Probably.
like sort of things that you should and you have things that you should discuss and walk through, you should discuss and walk through them. But I mean, I give him a bit of grace, because I think he hasn't been in this situation before, because like he didn't he didn't expect that he would have to be dealing with all that. But I think it's a combination of different things. I mean, he's already frustrated and angry about the fact that his wife doesn't shower. That's already something that makes him pissed off. And so now you have another thing added to it, and all these things are added to it. It will get you a bit more frustrated. And when you feel like a bit kind of offended like that as a guy, sometimes you might just want to walk off and cool off. And he did come back, and the whole playful thing. See, honestly, when the brother is up and rearing to go, and we are on a mission, all this laughing, and before you know it, 2 minutes, the brother is down, like we're just playing here, so when my mind is in that space, and we want to get into the hanky panky, let's be in the hanky panky spirit. Don't be changing the atmosphere. All these things are about creating the atmosphere. So so for me, the whole thing, yeah, it's not like I necessarily have to walk away. I mean, like you say, speaking to the atmosphere, we are already speaking the thing, and the brother is already cooperating. Then you now bring all this joking, you just bring all the atmosphere down, whatever. But I think it's not something that probably needed the whole walking away and whatever. But I think he just felt a bit, when it his emotions a bit, and felt like like she's kind of toying with his whole emotions, and toying with the whole feeling of he wants to get in that space. Because like, he's probably, when you're in that space, you expect your partner to be also kind of like getting there. But then when you're not laughing, it's kind of like, maybe I'm not doing it right, maybe maybe there's something wrong with it. Or so it kind of makes you feel a bit like, oh, maybe I'm not doing something right, and you just want to pull back a bit, and you just feel offended, like we should be in that space. And then with the whole not showering and all those things, man, that's just going to turn me off, like all the way off to this -0 point. Like, the whole snoring on the plane, I think it was just a comment. I don't think it was sort of like I mean, forget who is your partner or whatever, not your partner. If someone's on the plane with you and they're snoring, and then everyone is like, where's that sound coming from? Who's that? You feel embarrassed. I mean, let's just be fair here. I snore, so, but and sometimes I try to like not like go all the way inside the plane or whatever, because it's gonna be a bit awkward when it's like, oh, whatever inside. Like, come on, the person will be embarrassed. So I think it's just a kind of comment. I don't think it's like a kind of like a dig and whatever, that kind of thing.
I mean, to be honest, obviously, just relating to the kiddie energy stuff. Obviously, Dr. Carl told him it's his own issue that he has to deal with. It's not Bao's issue. It's not something that she should change. You get me? I think the problem with it, I think people found problem with it was because it's linked to her happiness. So when she gets happy, like, she shows that kiddie energy. And I think I can kind of see what he's saying, but like at the same time, this is the difficulty, because this is like, you're married at first sight, right? So it's like, this wouldn't honestly be, you might not accept this, right? And you might not date this person again, but you're in a marriage now, and so it's kind of tight, right? Because you got to kind of try and work it out. So that kiddie energy, I guess, and I think it's probably the way it's done. I think it's the way it's done. Listen, don't get yourself dated girls, and girls have been trying to, oh babe, and it's cool. Like, I don't get, you know what I'm saying? But he's talking about her when she's happy. Everything becomes like a child, and she probably does become like a child, probably because of what she's gone through in childhood, right? But that's going to be a turn off for somebody. It's that simple. It could be a turn off for somebody. That's why I didn't disagree with what he said. It's just a shame because they're in married at first sight. They're not on dating at first sight, right? So either he's got two choices. You find a way around this or you go and quit, right? We're not going to stand in the middle, right? So the whole walking away, going away, you know what? I'm going to give him a pass. I'm going to give him a pass, okay, today, which I never give anybody a pass walking away, all right? I'm going to give him a pass. You know why? Because it's a lot to ask a brother or a sister to deal with someone who doesn't shower. I'm sorry. No. The other situations have been we've argued or whatever. You can go away and come back. He has to think about this seriously. Can he deal with this for a lifetime of your babes telling you it's your preference if I shower or not after I've come out from the gym? No. That's a bit difficult. You're right. I can't give him a pass. I'm lying. I tried to defend it, but I couldn't go down that road. It's unexcusable. Okay, I tried to go down the road, but I struggled to come up with actual proper points, right? So I can't defend him walking. I can't defend him trying to go away for a few days, because you if you are going to go away for a few days, my friend, we're gonna have. Why can't you just go into another room? Right? Why can't you stay, in a living room for a little bit, think about this, go for a walk, come back. You can take a few hours, go for a walk, come back, clear your head. You know what I'm saying? But when you leave the home for a few days, you're already setting a precedence. And I think what Bao said, Bao said a really good line, which is, I hope this is not setting a precedence for the rest of the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be leaving like that. Now, here is where I'm going to say, and this is probably moving away from the kiddie energy stuff, right? And probably moving into the shower situations. I mean, change the banner, okay? Because it's a real conversation right now, okay? The shower situation, okay? Now, remember, last week, and some of the people in the audience too were getting on us about talking about the shower stuff, right? Saying she might be depression. At this point, it wasn't depression. What she said here was nothing to do with depression. This was strictly preferential. There was so much strength in her response, I was shook. If water was falling now, it would start bending around her. That's how strong she was in that moment about not showering, okay? Like, she honestly said it with her absolute chest, neck, and body that she's not going to be showering after gym. She said, yeah, you know what, good preference. It's not going to be for me. Now, here's the thing. If he was asking her to shower 3 or 4 times a day, I would understand what she's saying. He's been a bit excessive. Babe, he's asking you to shower after you come back from the gym and shower before you go to bed. I think that's a reasonable call for, right? I think it's a reasonable call for. Like I said, when things are about to go, no. People are playing with me tonight. I'm not going to play with them tonight. I'm sorry, but when things are going down in the bedroom, nobody wants to be smelling stuff. No, we don't want to be smelling stuff. I'm sorry. Y'all already know what it is. We're not 10 years into the relationship. We are fresh in this thing. Okay, let's start good and let's start well. You understand? Let's build our house upon a rock and not upon sand. Okay, go and shower, Bao. It's not, you know what I mean? And the fact that you're so strong on not showering is what scares me. How can you be so strong? The person's telling you, please, just shower. Hygieneness. It's morning and night. That's all you got to do, Bao. Morning and night. Or at least if you've gone for the gym, morning and after the gym, you've gone to the gym, go and shower, baby. Huh? That's all. But you want to get into the bed. White linen and all that. You understand? Yeah? And then get inside the bed and lay next to your man. And he's, darling, it's too much for me. It's too much for me, really. So I'm going to say on that point, I'm going to pass the baton to you guys. I think that just as much as I think Johnny is at fault with the kiddie energy stuff that he was talking about, because I do think that it was very painful to hear him say that. The second part is the shower stuff, bruv. I don't blame him if he's thinking about leaving this relationship. Just for that one thing, I don't blame him. It's a non-negotiable. It is a non-negotiable. Ray, I don't know why you're shaking your head. You had a deer on the wall and you went to run away. You're not going to be complaining about someone showering. You definitely you ain't shaking your head at this one. Go on, Ray. Go on. Respond to that then.
Let me tell you something. Culture, first of all, thank you so much. Like, I just love this cat. Thank you. I really enjoy the opportunity. Y'all already know how much I love Sean. And Miss Light, I'm loving you too. And David, you're hilarious. But anyway, this is what I'll say. If she's showering every day, she does not need to shower before she goes to bed. Sorry. If she goes to the gym, yes, she needs to shower after she goes to the gym. But let me say this. You got many women who shower and got stink punanis. Okay? So I don't want to hear it. Many women who shower with stink punanis. Okay? And she had a bidet. They both had bidets. Did I talk about this last week with the bidets? Okay. So I'm not gonna get on Val about this. If she's not showering after a workout, okay, that's nasty. But let's not act like there aren't women out there who do shower. Anyway, let's start there. Let's see what everybody else has to say, and then I'll jump back in.
So can I jump in, Coach?
Okay, go ahead.
So
You back, Sean?
First of all, I ain't never scared. And if there's one thing you know about me, my dear Ray, I ain't never scared, baby. But what Bao said was that time when Johnny must have taken 3 showers in one day, she said you took more showers in one day than I do in a week. So yeah, she ain't taking a shower every day. So that's one. 2, he tried to do the little dance with her and break it down and try to see how we can negotiate this. So he was like, what about when you come back from the gym? She was like, yeah, sometimes when I come back from the gym, I feel lazy. I don't feel like jumping in the shower. Why can't I just get in the bed? He was like, no, then you're going to get your sweat and funk all in the sheets. No. Why can't I sleep on the couch? Again, no room for negotiation. So we spent an hour talking about Rachel's fantasy vacation to Switzerland, but we can't talk about how Bao is not meeting Johnny in the middle, and especially in the early parts of a relationship, when intimacy at any point, if you're not taking showers, you're going to smell. Especially after one day into 24 hours goes into 48 hours. No, you're smelling like onion, and that is not cool. Okay? It's not cool. And you want to lay up in the bed, you want to roll around in the sheets, and now you want to snore. So now you got snoring issues. You don't want to shower. You running around like a kitty in like Charlie Brown when we kissing. Like at the end of the day, like that is problematic, right? And we saw that time a couple of episodes back, he tried to kiss her. He couldn't even take the kiss to the next level because she's busy giggling and laughing. Like that is the problem. And that's what he's saying is I'm getting sister vibes from you. I'm getting friendship vibes from you when we get to the point of intimacy. Now on Johnny's part, yeah, you can't run from it. And what Bao said to him was so important. Like at the end of the day, if you start to leave now, this is how you're going to handle things every time we get into a problem in our relationship. And running doesn't do anything, especially if he's not like, I just need to take a walk. It's different if you say, I need to take a walk and, that's a different story. But he said, I'm going all the way home to reset my mind. Wrong. So I'm definitely on 100%. That is not the way to handle a situation. We have to be able to talk it out. Now, what I think is he didn't know how to express that because he was tired of talking and not anything changing, because Bao is unwilling to bend from the minute they walked into that apartment. She was like, oh, this is wrong. And I don't like electric stoves. And I don't like this. This isn't your permanent home, ma'am. This is a temporary dwelling for you guys to get to know each other. And she's nitpicking this, opening the cabinets, going through all these things. It just seems to be like, how do we get to really connect with each other? And that's my thing.
Good points. Like, you want to jump in?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So, okay. My first thing is you know, when she was so adamant about not wanting to take a shower at that particular moment, I think that was an expression of rebellion. That's the first thing. The second thing, I'm going to move on to Johnny, and then I'm going to talk about Bao, because Johnny, last season we talked about, when Vincent left, and at first I actually had defended that, and then I really rethought it because of the conversation that you guys were having, Kojo, and I thought, yeah, he should have maybe taken a walk or something, but not completely leave. In this case, I think Johnny could have done the same. He could have said, I'm just going to go take a walk for a while. I'm just going to go someplace and go think it through. Knowing that he's a runner, I think it was almost expected, but this is the time when you have to work the process, because you committed, you said you were not going to run, and then you did run. That is what you did. She wasn't sure if you were ever coming back. That's the difference between taking a walk and going home, and learn that from your panel. I really had to think that through. So I'm glad, that he came back and said, I shouldn't have gone home. I should have handled it differently, because it makes me believe that he's not going to do that again in the future, or, at least not for something at this level. But in general, I think, Johnny trying to navigate these different things in Bao's personality are, he's really, really, jumping over hurdles here. There are a lot of things that are not just normal, everyday, common marital.
She knew it would be in the morning. I did not tell her what time. Mm-hmm. At the same dinner we're having, she says, "Don't ever wake me up."
That's not me. Who is that? That's not my background. I don't know what happened. So I think that's the thing.
Did you lie? Absolutely not. The night before, I tell her I'm taking my dog to the daycare. She knew that. She knew it would be in the morning.
Hear you, but I don't.
Is something
Sorry,
going on?
Sorry, it's me. I have things running in the background. Apologies.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
So yeah, I think that what Johnny is facing is not ordinary, common marital situations. I mean, he's this showering thing is like really, really uncommon for him. I mean, it's a shocker. But I think that it's good that he came home to face it. I sort of lost my train of thought just then. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to Bao, and I'm going to, explain a speculation that I have about Bao, and it's a little dark. So just, because, I started out with Bao thinking about, I don't know if it was on here that I mentioned it. I know it was with Maria, but, when she first had that, reaction to her wedding gift, at the time, I thought it wasn't just about the sports paraphernalia that everybody else was mentioning. Oh, she doesn't like sports guys. I really thought that it had to do with maybe the type of, she kept saying he's a bro. I thought it had to do with the type of person that does not keep their distance, that doesn't know how to keep their hands off somebody, and that there are certain men that fetishize Asian women. And so I was wondering if maybe she had an experience with some people touching her that she didn't want to touch her, that didn't, allow her the autonomy over her own body. So the more we move forward into the process, I'm piecing together a lot of, dots. I'm joining a lot of dots here that make me believe that she had a deeper violation, that she might have had an experience of date rape or acquaintance rape, because the way that she had at one point said that she had a one-night stand when they were on the boat, and they asked that question when they were doing the drinking game, and she said she had a one-night stand, and everybody was surprised about that. But she's also, very, this Kitty thing sort of adds to it for me, that she's very repressed in her, in the way that she is with Johnny. She's very repressed in her intimacy areas, this Kitty thing. And then also the fact that she has said that she's gone through really deep bouts of depression. And now the idea that she is, she doesn't like to shower, and that goes along with depression, but it also at this point goes along with a barrier of keeping people apart. And then there's the fact that she is so very, she's so meticulous in a lot of different things. I think that she's trying to hold on to some aspect of control all over her life, because at some point she's lost control. She was, control was taken away from her because she was violated in that way. So, I was actually also wondering if, her family had said at one point that, that she doesn't like to be touched, but people were saying the family was like that, but I didn't get that feeling. I'm wondering when exactly was it she began to not want to be touched, because my understanding is that they said they would try to hug her and she would recoil. So there's a lot of little pieces that I'm wondering if her problems with showering and her problems with depression are much, much deeper. And that is the issue that Johnny probably is not aware of. She's not ready to share. I'm not even sure that she's ready to acknowledge it for herself. Because at one point in this episode, I believe she said that she was more she was more experienced than him. Clearly she's not that when it comes to sex and physicality, but I think that she meant communicatively. I think in her mind that she like a lot of women do, believe that the experience she had was a one night stand, and she's probably blaming herself for allowing that to happen. So there's a lot of deep seated things, and I realize this is my speculation, and I might be reaching, and I frankly hope that I am. But there seems to be so many things that indicate that she has so many deeper issues with relationships that Johnny is might learn later and is going to have to contend with. And that's my whole fear about Bao, that they're going to need a lot more help. She's going to need a lot more help to get past these little things that they're dealing with right now.
I think personally, I think the whole Bao thing with the whole shower, I think to me is it rings to me a little bit more of what Light initially said, which is the whole rebellion thing. I think the whole control of men has made a lot of women very, very careful and very guarded. When they notice a little bit of control from you as a guy, they immediately go into this protection mode because they don't want to be controlled. And it's because they've seen, in some sense, our mothers growing up going through that, and they've probably also gone through that. And I think that's what Bao is going through. Because for me, she said, because I really watched the intros before the show started, and she's actually one of the sort of directors or top people inside of like a cancer research institute or something like that in the US. Now, I know people in that space, and I can tell you majority of them have a minimum of a master's degree or PhD. So I don't think there's any sense of her being this person who doesn't shower or whatever, all this kind of thing. I think she was just a bit sensitive of the fact that this guy is like a neat freak, shower every minute kind of person. And she wanted to stake it in the claim and say, hey, I'm not going to be like that. A little bit like what Rachel is doing, which is, I'm not going to be you. And I want you to accept me and understand that this is me and that's who I'm going to be. Don't try to change me or make me become like you, because that would seem to me like control. And I think that's why she's really holding on to that. Like, no, I'm not. Because even with after the whole exercise or gym thing, her whole tone in saying that she wasn't going to shower was more like, I'm not going to shower. So what are you going to do? Are you going to force me? Are you going to? And I think it was kind of taking a stand and saying, no, I'm not going to do, so to me, I think it's more of that kind of fight of, you know what, I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to. And take it back, these two were leaders of associations in the university. People who are leaders of those associations, especially in the US, they're not just any kind of pushover kind of people. They're people who take their stand. They're people who, because for you to be leading an association of Vietnamese students, it's sort of like leading the association of Jamaican students or whatever. There are going to be a lot of high energy people, a lot of opinions and whatever, and you have to be strong and you have to take your stand. So I think she's a little bit like, you know what, you're not going to be telling me what to do or what not to do and pushing me around. I'm going to take my stand, and you're going to have to either take it or not. I don't think she's that kind of dirty person who doesn't shower or whatever. I think she's just trying to be. And I think probably a few of the people who work with her will probably be thrown off like, how can you be saying you don't shower? Like, we know you very well. The whole touching thing, yes, some people are a bit guarded and very protective of that, probably because to some extent, maybe what Light said, maybe they've experienced something like that, but the whole shower thing, I think that's just some kind of taking my stand and rebellion kind of, you're not going to control me and whatever kind of thing. And I think Johnny just needs to note that, okay, this is where she's coming from, and let me be a bit kind of, relaxed about it, and just give her a little bit of leeway to feel like, I'm not controlling her and I'm not dictating her life for her. Like, okay, now get into the shower. Okay, now do this. Like, I'm not your kid, Just understand that I also know what is hygiene. I also know what is, feeling good and whatever. So just kind of respect my space in that sense.
Okay, I've heard both Light and David. I can accept parts of what you guys are saying. I think I just can't accept the non-showering. There's no need to make a stance on this point, right? It's a hygiene issue, okay, right? So there's no need to make a stance on this. If you want to make a stance about his control, choose another section. This is hygiene. This is your personal effect. It doesn't just affect him; it affects you. So someone said that on No Speak. But so for me, I take the other approach and I'm saying, if you want to make that stance, can you make it on something else? Darling, shower. You understand? Yeah? It's not nice for anybody to want to be in that space with somebody who doesn't look after themselves hygiene wise. I'm sorry. You can't come out here and make a point about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? Like, don't make a point about hygiene. Make it about something else, because he's too controlling. If you think he's too controlling about that or whatever. Yeah. But this is not the stand. This is not the hill we die on. This ain't the hill we die on. Okay? All right? You want me to show you love and your armpits are stinking? You want me to show you love and your breath is kicking me all the way back to Timbuktu? What do you want me to do? You're asking the brother to ignore these smells? No, real spit. No, let me keep $100 for you. Let me keep $100 for you. One day I was out with one of my exes, and she told me, "Coach, your breath is hot." I said, "Shit."
So Kojo, breath and stanky punani ain't the same thing.
No. Listen. Once she told me, I just had to be even more careful. I was just making sure I'm even more careful. I'm not gonna miss out on that date. Why am I going to continue and be like, well, I don't want you to tell me how to behave? What? Are you nuts? What's wrong with you? You want a relationship with the person that you're with. You know what I'm saying? So my hygiene is very important. So if I'm off point, tell me I'm off point. You understand that? Don't try to make it a point. I can't let you control me. So I'm not cussing you guys, but I'm talking about her. I'm saying that I'm gonna make a stand on this. It's like, no, but if you're gonna make a stand on this, look, that for me, that's grounds for divorcey. I'm not gonna play with you. Wow. That's grounds for divorce. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you don't look after yourself hygiene wise, let's dead this, because I'm not about to fight with you over something that should be done. Do you understand? Like, this it should be done. I'm not rolling with somebody who wants to be happily stinking and smelling. If that's the case, go into the nature reserve, find somebody who wants to do naked with you. I'm not about that life. Do you see what I'm saying? So for me, I want to be open and say, if she has bouts of depression, then I'll come back to this point I made in the very first episode we spoke about this. Then the hosts of this show, those who are experts, have done Johnny an absolute disservice. Why is he having to look after somebody who doesn't even know they're in depression? Why? Do you know what I'm saying? Why is somebody having to look after somebody who doesn't know they're in depression? And why has nobody picked up on this? Because she's so proud to come on camera and tell you that she ain't going to shower. There ain't no way she didn't say it on the application form. That, hey, guys, and they ask so many different questions. So are you telling me no one picked up on this, that she's got some spouts of depression coming through? Come on. You know what I'm saying? We've only seen little bits of clip of video, and we can already kind of see that. So you can't tell me that these guys who are experts and those who are working behind the scenes who do the actual background checks didn't realize that there could be potentially some aspect of depression coming from Bao. Because you're not about to ask somebody to start dealing with something that she's not even dealing with herself. She doesn't even know. You know what I mean? So for me, and this is why I'm saying that it's difficult. I understand where Johnny's coming from. she's actually putting her feet into the ground and saying, I'm not going to shower. Well, if that's what you're saying, I'm not also going to be here. You understand? Yeah.
Kojo,
yeah.
how you know she stinks? Did Johnny say she stinks?
I didn't say she stinks. I didn't say that she definitely stinks, but I'm saying
But
obviously.
how you know she stink though? How you know she? How you know she nasty? Did
women,
he say that?
No, but the brother told her to go and shower, bro.
Yeah, but how you know she stink? But this is my thing. How you know she stink?
If you don't bathe for 24 hours, you're going to stink.
But she didn't say she didn't bathe for 24 hours.
She did.
She said she's not bathing twice a week.
More showers in one day than she does in a week.
Oh yeah,
there are 7 days in a week.
I didn't hear her say that.
She did say it because that's what happened during the honeymoon. And look, I think, like Kojo said, is if we're gonna make everything, we're gonna break down everything, then nobody ever gets anywhere. Everybody just stays as they are, right? I get to do whatever I want to do. Bao gets to do whatever she wants to do. And guess what that is? Single. It's single. Because in a marriage, you gotta sacrifice. It takes you giving up things that you don't want, and that's on both sides. And if we just can't get past the basics, which is taking a shower, I'm like, come on. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna go back and forth about a shower. And now we're going to diagnose her as depressed, and she might be, but then don't get married or get that fixed, because it's a problem in a relationship. And Johnny said it too on Unfiltered. He said, for me, I'm thinking about us being intimate, and I don't want those smells. And there's things I want to be able to do, and I don't want that.
So I need to be watching the Unfiltered, Sean. I'm missing out.
Yeah,
he said that.
Yes, he said that. Now I'm paraphrasing in the point of in some aspects, but he did say point blank period. I wanted to be intimate, and I'm thinking about intimacy, and showers is critical because you need to be fresh.
He said that.
He said it like 2 Unfiltereds ago.
Yeah, and it's true, Sean, because a lot of dudes be saying to me, "Oh my God, how you so clean?" I'm like, "Well, who you be dealing with?" So I guess a lot of chickies out here ain't be clean, but that don't mean they're not showering. Like I said, chickies out here be showering and still be nasty. So I don't want to hear it. Okay.
All right, Raider Contrarian. We're just gonna call you Raider Contrarian because you just want to ride the opposite side. So you just ride that opposite side right on out.
Can I just interject this? The thing is that people have
stand for something else, Ray. Don't be standing for stanking. Stanking ain't good.
Go for it. Wait, Light was gonna say. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to interject that, I mean, I understand that people have different body chemistries, right? Some people have really, really high body odor and they need to work that out. Some people have lower body odor. But in a general sense, if you're not showering, you're not really taking care of yourself in that way. It's what's the word? You're accumulating is not the word, but it's compounding itself.
Yes.
Within you. And that is the issue. Even if she doesn't smell. And one of the things that I thought about when we were talking about the sheets and stuff is that even if it's not on the surface of things, right? Even if it's not on fabric, if you're a person that smells, it remains when you walk away. It's kind of like that, I'm sorry. I don't mean it to be funny, but I mean, really, if you're walking away, people kind of are still dealing with that when you've walked away. So it's anywhere in the room, and that is what your home is going to take on those odors. So it's not just your body; it's everything in the home might take on those scents. But let's say she's a person who has the type of body chemistry that she doesn't actually smell. It doesn't really matter, because if she is not taking care of herself hygienically, there are things that are accumulating on her system, on her body and in her system, that if you're going to share your body with someone else, bacteria, thank you. I guess that's the word. If you're going to be sharing your body with someone else, you are sharing, you share sweat anyway. You could have just come out of the shower, have sex, and then you're going to be sweating on each other. If you have accumulated body fluids and body, you're sharing that with the person that you're sharing your body with. And let's just go deeper. He is entering her. right? And he's entering, and Ray said, you can shower a lot and still be a person whose body chemistry is really sort of high. And with women, we're going to be real with women. Feminine hygiene is a big industry for a reason. We need to pay attention to our hygiene. If we are with a man and we have not done more than the surface, wipe, that she was showing her wipe and the bidet, and that was a big thing to her. If you're not doing more than the surface wipe, you're allowing somebody into your body, you are allowing a person to enter all of the things within your feminine self that are not conducive to a relationship. It is not good for him. It is not healthy for him if you are not, hygienically healthy. So it's not just, oh, she smells and I don't like it. It really is about health. I'm really surprised that she doesn't have other health issues, and maybe they just haven't shared it. Maybe it's none of our business. But it's deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. And then you add the aspect of Johnny already being a germaphobe. Oh my gosh! If you feel that there's too much dust, and then you go to be with your wife who has got a buildup and an accumulation of body fluids that she has not rinsed off of her or rinsed out of her, that man is probably seeing like leprosy all over the place. And that is why I think that is a big issue. Again, I think there's a deeper issue that she's going to need to deal with. But if we're saying on just the shower, that is a massive thing for a person to have to deal with.
If anybody has Johnny's number, please, I want to buy him one of Kojo's, send them back to the manufacturers. I'm going to send it personally to his email or to his Dropbox or whatever and tell him, bro, this is a message from God. Listen and do as it says. I rest my case.
I love this, man. I love this. It's important to discuss this. Listen, someone in the chat may not be taking showers. You don't know who's not taking showers. We have 637 people on this live. You don't know who's not taking showers. People are asking why we're having this conversation. Well, did you know Bao? Did you know Bao before? You didn't know Bao before. Didn't know Bao was not taking showers every day. You didn't know. You don't know who next to you is not taking showers. Somebody needs to hear this and be shamed into taking showers. Yes, take the showers. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who are not in showers. You don't know who's not in showers. You know what I'm saying? Rather than having to admit it on television and embarrassing themselves, we want to show you, take showers. Morning, night, take showers. Okay? All right? If you're single, take showers. If you're married, take showers. Take the showers. It's good for you. All right, cool. Yo, the comments are wilding up in here as well. They're funny. Let's talk about the final two couples then going forward. We got Gil and Merla. We got the shoes situation. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm seeing more of Merla. I'm seeing more of her personality come out a little bit more. I'm seeing a bit more lightness coming from her, if I'm honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you. And actually, I kind of sided again with her this week a bit more than I did with Gil. I felt like Gil was crying about stuff that didn't need to be cried about. Shoes are already bought, bro. Shoes are already bought, bro. Why are we stressing? Let's have a conversation about maybe future spending. But you're crying over shoes that are already bought. Bro, like, you're gonna have to relax on that. You understand? But I understand there was intimacy conversation as well. I'm gonna be honest with you, Gil. I love you, man, but I don't know how you think the intimacy is gonna come. I don't know how you're thinking that, sir. You're not really connecting at the moment, you two, both of you, right? So why would you think that intimacy would come if you're not really connecting? Like, I'm never gonna think a girl wants to smash if me and her are not really connecting on other levels. It doesn't really make sense. You know what I'm saying? Unless she's on a wild thing, and you're trying to have more than just a wild thing. So I think you might just want to read the room a little bit. Just read the room a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? But I also understand that he may be also getting her back a little bit for the first few days that she was coming out with the nitpicking. So I don't know. What was you guys' thoughts on Merla and Gil? Let's have a few thoughts on that then. Sean, you want to go first? Set that pace.
Sure. So one, yeah, I think a part of him is trying to, assess her shopping skills, and I think his energy could be diverted to other places. So I think, you got to pick your battles. And if she already bought the shoes, that's one thing. But the one thing I do see is she seems like she wants to keep buying these shoes. And that's where they kind of had that conversation that played out with Dr. Cal as well, because she had that same attitude. And I think that is where a lot of these couples are bumping up against issues, is because they're taking these things that they did in their single life, and then they're like, okay, well, I did this and now I just want to continue doing this in my married life, right? So everything has to be up on the table, and we have to look at, okay, so what are you going to do going forward? And she's like, well, I don't know why, if I'm saving already, why I can't keep spending divert $1,000 a month, to continue to buy these shoes. It's like, but like what? And this would be my question, and especially in a marriage, if we're just dating, you manage your money, if it's just friendly, or it's just kind of casual, you do you, I do me. But at a certain point, when we are together, we need to be looking behind the veil. We need to understand what is behind our actions. And if I have excessive spending, and I would say the same thing, if there's a dude and he's going to the strip club every month and tossing up money in the air, or spending money erratically, gambling, right? That has to be a conversation. Spending all this money on these designer shoes and clothes, it needs to be talked about. Now, what we do with it, then it is what it is, right? But I think we need to get beyond the veil. Everybody's like, oh, Mirla has money. We don't know how much money she has. If we were married, I would want to understand that, because all these high-end designers, Gucci, Fendi, Prada, to be spending like that and buying them that often, I need you to be a millionaire, ma'am. I need you to have a whiteboard like Jose, that everything is laid out if you're spending that excessively. And again, it's a conversation. If it is, and you got your money lined up and everything works, and we're able to save, we're able to build a future together, a family, have money for emergencies, for rainy day funds and all of that stuff. But if that's not the case, it's a problem. She didn't even know how many red bottom shoes she had. She didn't know how many she had. She did not. She did not. She said, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe 7, maybe 10. I'm not sure." When the doctor, when Pastor Cal was asking her what she estimated her closet to be worth, she was just kind of like, because she's just buying these things. So again, I don't have the answer. I don't know, but I'm saying, why can't we talk about it? Why can't we call it out? Why can't it be a conversation? Why does it have to be we just shut it down? No, we should be able to explore it just like we're exploring everybody else. And I think it should be on the table for what the go forward looks like, because there's a lot of people out there that just spend excessively, and it becomes a lifestyle, and it's unnecessary things. It's unnecessary things. You just fill in your closet. Her closet was crammed, and I thought we were going to see her apartment. She was going to have a big, expansive walk-in closet to accompany all of these clothes that she had. But that didn't match up. So are we just buying things to feed our ego? Or is there real value in some of these things that we're doing? And what I like that Gil said was, I'm about investing and buying property. And I think, like, we just need to prioritize, is what I'm trying to say. Now, if things are working out and her budget is really that tight, then more power to her. Let her be and let her shop. But I would need to get under the hood of that and have more dialogue about what really is behind
Um, so I think that there's a few conversations going on in the comment, and I like to say by saying, now, if you start dating someone and you see that they're living their life a particular way, it gives you concern. Why? Not because you've married them straight away, but because you're planning to get married to them and you're looking in the future, you're looking forward and saying, is this how it's going to be? Are they willing to change these or not? You know, like when I was doing my PhD, I used to like spend several hours walking and walking and walking. And I was seeing someone at the time, and she was like, dude, like the way you're walking, like I probably walk like how Kojo walks, like midnight, I'm walking, morning, I'm walking, like sometimes you finish watching the video and then you already see Kojo putting up another video, and it's like, does this guy never sleep? Like, it's actually like midnight in the UK now, but hey, that's a brother on his grind, and a lady can look at it and say, oh, when would you have time for me? I don't want someone who's going to be like this. I mean, you should be able to have some downtime, blah, 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 blah. She's looking in the future because maybe that's what she wants. Now, the same context goes in when you have like someone who's spending money in a particular way. You haven't married them yet, but it gives you concern that is this how they're going to be when you get married to them? And it makes you think, okay, are they going to change? Are they going to adjust? And if they're already showing you signs like they're not going to budge, then it gives you concern, like they're not going to budge. And that's how they're going to still be spending the money. Now, a lot of people are saying she can afford it, she can afford it. Fair enough, she can afford it, no argument. And people have different values. For some people, 10 Louis Vuitton shoes is more important than owning a home or whatever. Hey, you can't cost people, that's their value system. It is what it is. But then the reality of it is, when you're looking to be with someone, you have to understand that when you get into a family, now things add up. There are things you can afford when you're single, but then when you now get married, your rent increases, your expenses increases, your daily necessities increase. Granted, your income or your earnings might increase because you guys are pulling your income together, but then doesn't mean your expenses will increase. And then if you're now looking at having a family, now your expense will even increase because now you have a mouth to feed that is taking 10, 20 diapers in a day. And then you also have to factor in, there might be unexpected things that come up in life. Look at the case of something, I've forgotten his name. His last name is Wilder or something like that. Basically, the American guy who got put in jail and sent to Rikers, and his life got messed up and all those things. When I watched that documentary, part of the problem was his parents could not afford the bond money for him to get bailed out quickly, and he eventually got taken to Rikers. Now, unexpected situations like that might come up in life. For example, you have kids. Your kids might play on the playground and break their arm one day, and now you have to fork out a lot of money to the hospital. You might have to Your car might break down and you might have to change the whole engine or whatever. Do you have money for such savings? That's the point. It's not that it's not okay to buy whatever you want to buy, but do you have savings? Are you making financial smart decisions in that way? Or you're just spending money because you have it today? You see what I'm saying? So people need to understand, like, his whole point is not just about, oh, okay, you have all these shoes. His point is about, I'm looking to build a life with you. And if this is how you're going to be living now, and you're already saying you're not going to have concessions on several things, it tends to me you're not going to have concessions about your finances. And you're still going to be wanting to buy 10 Louis Vuitton shoes and all these kind of things, you know? And that's something that people need to think about in that kind of sense. And if they okay, you might say he's making less and whatever, and she's making more, he needs to up his game and all those kind of things. Personally, I don't subscribe to that. You understand? The brother is making what he's making, he's doing the job he's doing. A previous live that Kojo has done with Natalie, I think a lady from the UK, she was saying her husband is a pastor. There's a cap on the salary. He's not going to make more than whatever he's making. You're not going to tell a pastor to go and become a welder to add more money to his earnings. Come on. There's certain realities as people's realities, so you guys have to cut your coat and make things in a way that it's kind of reasonable to each other. The whole thing with the shoes, I think, yeah, okay, his point to me, I think, is not just about, like what Sean said, just a present, but basically looking into we're planning to build a family and you're not looking to make concessions on several things. I don't know how you're going to make concessions on the shoes and reduce them to one or two instead of all this so many you have, or or probably, don't buy like Louis Vuittons and all those kind of things and buy something that's more affordable.
I hear you. Go for it, Ray. You want to go for it?
Oh my God, I'm dying over here. The double standard is killing me. I'm just dying a slow death. No one knows how much she saved. Okay, suppose she got $500,000 in her account. She's maxed out her 401k plan. I thought men don't care how much money women have. I thought men don't care how many degrees women have. I thought men just want a woman who don't stink, who are all over them, who have burning desire, who are cooperative. So which is it? I have not heard Merla say one time, Gil, you gotta buy me Louis Vuittons. I never heard her say one time, Gil, you need to make more money and buy me a Gucci. I haven't heard her say that one time. And this episode was very production heavy, and I had a hard time with it. The way they ganged up on Merla, this fake pseudo Pastor Cal. Sorry, y'all, whoever loves Pastor Cal, he's a fraud. I don't know this man, but he was mad fraudulent on this episode, telling her about her money. Screw you. Who are you? Like, who? And what does Gil have? Gil, where your savings at? Where your properties at? What plan do you have? How are you sitting down? The same way we want Jose to come with the plan. What plan do you have, Gil, for your marriage, for your finances? What do you have? What are you bringing to the table? I can't take it. She got her own money. No one is saying that when she gets married, she doesn't know how to reallocate her money. She has money that's saved. Who knows? She may own something. At least her apartment wasn't big. She's smart enough to know, let me have a small apartment and maybe I can buy more of my money this way. Come on. The double standard is killing me here. You know how much money I spend on my career a month? You know how much money I spend on YouTube trying to get my channel up, cameras, mics, and I'm still a mess. You know how much money I'm investing in my album, how much money I'm investing, and I know it's different, shoes, art, but it's what is artistic for her. Fashion is artistic for her. My music, my YouTube, my album, that's artistic for me. But who are you gonna come and tell me that I can't spend $1,000, $2,000 a month on something I want to spend, and I'm financially savvy, and I'm financially stable? Really? And I got savings. I can't. I can't. The men with this, I can't. It's mad double standard. And Gil with his ultimatum, if you not into me by the time it's over, I'm divorcing you. Men like ultimatums. So since when are men giving ultimatums? Men don't like ultimatums. And you out here in these streets giving them double standard. I'm over it. Gil lost me 2 weeks ago when he was throwing her under the bus. Okay? I can't. This Gil dude. Where is Seaway when we need Seaway?
I think no. I think he's wrong with the ultimatum thing. I wanted to stay on the shoes topic. That's why I didn't want to go there. But yeah, I think he was wrong about that. The whole like, if you don't do this, I'm out or whatever. I think you set up yourself to be this person who is every day waiting for that to happen. And the woman is not going to like that because she's going to be thinking, oh, he's waiting for it to happen. He's waiting for it to happen, and
Yeah.
he's just going to be, I mean, like you look at marijuana, when marijuana was being smoked, and even like psychedelics was discovered in the lab by a couple, and they were just using it for like research purposes and things like that. And people were taking it, and it was working for them, people with nervous issues and anxiety. But then, the government cracked down on them and went to their lab and shut it down, all those things. And then people started producing it in the black market. And then people started ODing on it and getting high. And then it became like, oh, this is banned. And you know what? People then started making spin-offs of those psychedelics, just changing the functional group in their chemistry and making a different kind of psychedelics that was not affecting people. So when you just make a rule and say, don't do this, what we've learned is people go and do it even more. So when you now say, oh, if you don't do this, then I'm leaving, she's just going to be like, oh, yeah, that's the door. You can get out. You're not even paying my bills or giving me all the uh, croissants and what's that, macaroons I want and all those kind of things. Yeah, you can get the fuck out. I don't care. She's just gonna. So, but if you kind of again finesse, make her happy, ask her what she wants instead of taking her on all these flying trip that she doesn't like, and she's like, I want to get off, and all these kind of things that she's so. People who are very, very, very critical like that, your best bet is to actually ask them what they want to do, not coming up to do things that you just come up from your mind that you want to do, because they're gonna puncture it and say, I don't like it, I don't like that, I don't want that. Ask her what she wants to do. Like, babe, what do you want to do? Like you talk about like what's the name? Jess and Ryan and Brett and whatever. The girl was playing volleyball when they came and told her she's married at first sight, you know. But bro wants to be taken out and all this kind of stuff. And if you ask the lady what she wants to do, you might be able to get something that will make her happy. And maybe at the end of the day, you get some, you know. But all this kind of like just seeing her like I don't see her like a boring kind of person who doesn't like anything. I just think you just need to communicate to each other and talk about things. So the whole sexual and intimacy thing, I think he's pushing it a bit too much, and she's sensing it, and she's gonna keep holding off because she knows that he's up on it. So he needs to pull off from it.
I agree with David. This is why she's not kissing him, Kojo. She's not kissing him because she feels it. She feels he's antagonizing her. She feels that he has issues with her. And this is why I don't blame this Marla. And I don't care if people don't, look, you're generalizing who hurt you. Nobody hurt me. Okay. I got some great relationships with great men in my life, but I'm going to be real and I'm going to be honest. And there's a major, major, major double standard when it comes to men and women. And men have a lot to say. This is how Kevin Samuels got almost 2 million views. This is why Kojo does videos on these things, dark arts, Kevin, all this stuff, the manosphere, fresh fit. There's a huge, huge message out there that women are the problem, especially Black women. Okay. So I don't want to hear it. This chickie ain't asking him for nothing. This chickie ain't asking him to do anything. All she's asking is to let her be who she is. And he has a lot to say about it. And it's mad double standards.
So, Ray, I hear you. And I guess my approach is when we enter in a union, it's not about what you do and I can do it all by myself. And Kojo talked about this many times. That independent attitude doesn't work in a marriage. We both are needing each other, and interdependence is key. So I should be able to talk to you as my wife about anything. Sure. And nothing should be off the table. So what I think is that if we're observing something and it doesn't look or add up, and in my experience and in my thought process, it's a level of a red flag. So I would want to ask more questions. Now, granted, Gil's approach is passive aggressive.
Thank you.
And that is not the right approach. However, I see an issue and I would want to dig deeper. And yeah, we can afford anything, but is it the right purchase to make? And once we are together and we are managing our finances together, we should be able to talk about what makes financial sense. The same way that we want to talk about Rachel and Jose and making financial decisions together. And it doesn't matter that Jose has more money, but and in this instance, it looks like Mirla does. We still want Jose to be able to provide for Rachel, right? So we want him to be able to build a plan. So that's the same way, and we're asking Jose to bend, to be flexible, to hear what Rachel is saying because she has a desire for something. So that's what I'm saying, is that we need to be able to have a conversation with Mirla, because right now the math ain't mathin', and for somebody to be spending excessively on all of these items, I would want to know what your budget looks like.
But and Sean, how do you know her math isn't mathing? How do you know?
Ray, I'm just like you don't know that
know.
Ryan is a wild hunter running around with a gun, but you are making an assumption and you are looking at behavior. That's the same thing I'm doing. I'm looking at behavior, I'm comparing it to what I see, and I'm trying to understand, is this a productive financial part of our relationship, right? Is this something that is feasible to continue on and for us to have a fruitful marriage and have financial health? Because that is also important. So I would want to know from Mirla, who is my wife, where and what and when. And if I got answers and if we're able to understand each other, then we move accordingly. But if there needs to be adjustments, there needs to be adjustments.
And as the head of the household, you think Gil handled this appropriately?
I'm not even talking head of household. Just scratch that. It's man to woman. Yeah, really. It's man to woman, two people in a relationship. We should be able to, in all seriousness, discuss anything, right? If there's something that's displeasing to you, we got to talk about it. If there's something that's displeasing to me, we got to talk about it, right?
So we get rid of the head of the household, Sean? We get rid of the head of the household? Real talk?
But like, why would we incorporate that into this discussion when we are talking about two people? Like, where does that go? It's
double
derailing
standard.
the conversation.
No, it's not. Double standard.
It's not a double standard.
Yes, it is.
Ray,
Gil is the head of the household. Gil sets the tone. If Gil wants to know about her finances,
but that's that doesn't work for Mirla. Mirla is not submitting to Gil as the head of the household. Mirla has said, I will do what I want to do. I'm not changing my lifestyle. So for her, that head of the household does not work. Okay, so we're with two different people. So in her instance, she has not submitted to him. And nor should she at this point, because they don't know each other. So in the getting to know process, we should be able to talk and get underneath the hood of finances. Even she said to Pastor Cal, we haven't really dove deep into finances. And she didn't say, I don't want to. So I would want to dive deeper and have a conversation about it. But
this is my point. You guys are making it seem like he dove deeper. He set up a plan. He had this conversation and she shut him down. She didn't do that. They just jumped on her based on and Sean, what you said earlier was brilliant. We can't speculate, and that is absolutely correct. And me seeing a dare in the wall, for me, I don't have any speculations. I just don't want to see a dare in the wall. Now, Brett may have some more issues about that because for her, it's something else. But for me, I just don't want to see a dare in the wall. But if I'm making money and I'm spending a lot of money the way I'm spending it, and I'm saving money, and I have a 401k that I've maxed out, if you come to me with a stink attitude, a demeaning attitude, it's not calm, it's not nice, it's aggressive, then I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to lie to you and say, yeah, I don't know how many Louis Vuittons I have. And yeah, no, I'm going to push back. Just like Val was pushing back with her shower, like David said, just like Rachel is pushing back with her control over finances, women will push back. It's a double standard. You need to know how to talk to your wife, how to set the tone, how to sit down, how to have a plan. Come on, if you want her to be receptive. It's a double standard.
This is a strong
But Sean, you know I love you, right? You know I love you, Sean.
I love you too.
Meet me, Sean. Meet me. Come close, Sean. Come close, Sean. Meet me,
I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here.
I love
you know it's all love. And we're going to debate. But I'm going to defer to Kojo because we can do this till 3:00 in the morning.
It's true, like we do all the time.
No, I'm here.
Sean, you and I be arguing till 8 in the morning Paris time.
I'm hearing both of you. You know
and
Sean
and I be talking about some deep stuff too. We be talking about some deep stuff. Yeah, Sean.
You're good. I mean, both of you are making really good points. I'm not gonna take away from any of your points that you guys are making. To be honest, it's tough. I think it's tough because I think obviously the conversation with Miller and Gil is slightly different from the Jose and Rachel situation because Rachel is financially, unfortunately, not as capable. Whereas it looks like Miller has a hold on her finances. Remember, this is what I was saying about Rachel. She could negotiate at the table if she has financial proclivity, if she has that. But if she doesn't have that, she's going to struggle to be able to deal with Jose at the table. So Miller has that. She has the ability to know what her finances are. The question is this: when they meet at the table to discuss finances, what is the vision? What do you hope to achieve? Because as much as I'm hearing Gil say, I want to be investing in investment, stuff like that, I don't know if she's not investing in that already. We just know that she's buying shoes, right? And spending $2-3 grand. So I'm not yet quick to jump on it, but I do understand his, I see you spending a lot of money on finances. And I think that from his perspective, it looks like that, right? From his perspective, it does look like that she's spending a lot of money on that. The question is, have we seen each other's financial statements to say whether it is a lot or not? Because $2-3 grand to 100K might be different to somebody who's on 50K. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, Gil wants 8 kids. You know what I mean? Like, I think, I honestly feel like there's just a little bit of, and I think we've seen it in the chat, a little bit of financial insecurity from Gil, and it's not allowing him to actually have a real good discussion as to what he hopes to achieve going forward and what he wants going forward. And that, I think, it ends up being highly focused on the shoes rather than actually the vision that he has for the family. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not even necessarily even saying that he's actually wrong in all his thoughts, but what I'm saying is we need you to come to the table, meet her at the table, let's put this on the table, and she has to be willing to as well. What I don't want to see is independence. And it's like, no, I have my money, I already make my money, I don't worry about what I make. No, you've come into a marriage, we need to come to the table now, be transparent about what you bring to the table, what I bring to the table, here it is. Now here's the vision I see. Then we can start to discuss whether Mila is really inflexible or not. Because until we have that table discussion, I don't know if she's inflexible or not. I don't really know. I know she's inflexible in other areas, but I don't know if she's inflexible or not in her financial dealings. You know what I'm saying? So I think he needs to do that first, right? Come to the table, get the vision going, see where we're going. Okay, this is what we're hoping to achieve. If you want finances, you want the houses and the investments. I've always said this: wisdom trumps everything, right? Trust me. If you've got wisdom in the financial area, you can get Miller to listen to you because you have wisdom. Do you know what I'm saying, right? You will get her. Now she might be a little bit stubborn when she does it, but you'll get her because the wisdom will trump. The question is whether you have that wisdom or whether you just, because when he said it, I didn't feel he meant, I want to invest in houses and stuff. I honestly didn't feel that. I'll be honest with you. I want Gil to win. I was backing him. I was like, man, them, I see it. But I didn't believe any ounce of what he said when he said investment in houses and investment in stocks. I was like, well, if that's the case, sir, show that wisdom. Because you're talking as if you already got it locked in and you already know what you're going to do. If that's the case, show her with wisdom. Listen, I've already done this already. Look, I've started making money here and there, right? Let's get it together. But I didn't I almost felt a bit like you wanted to use that as an excuse as to why she shouldn't be spending money. We're going to and it's like, it's going to be tough to change her mind if you're not really saying it from a place of wisdom. And that was my only issue with Gil. I just felt like I wasn't believing everything that he was saying, that it actually is for the reason that he's saying, rather than just being about fear because she's spending a lot of money in her closet. Don't get twisted. I would feel a little way about it first, but you have to take time and just slow down and be like, okay, what is the real reason why I'm having an issue with things? I know she's complained about a lot of things. She's moaned about a lot. Let's be honest, she has. But when it comes to you guys' financial vision, what are you hoping to achieve? You know what I mean? That's the kind of conversation I want to hear. So yeah, we need to know, right? I don't know. Maybe he's got money and we don't know. He hasn't expressed that, you know. Maybe he's got tons of money and he's able to express that again. But like I said, if he did, then then this is again another conversation where it goes financial wisdom. You would able to show that to her because you would have done it already. The confidence you would have, you'd be able to speak with it when it comes to dealing with Mila. At the moment, I haven't heard that from him. That's my thing. I may be wrong, but it's just I have not heard the tone of wisdom that I already know what I'm doing. I've got more wisdom from Jose with what I've got with Gil at the moment when it comes to finances. Do you see what I'm saying? So let's see that wisdom that you're talking about, that you can invest it in stuff, rather than just being a fairy tale of we could invest it in stocks. You hear people say all the time, oh, we can invest in stocks, we can buy a house and turn it over. Have you done it before? Do you have the wisdom in the area? Have you studied this area? Or is it just an idea that sounds good, hasn't been implemented, and then you throw it on someone else as if they shouldn't really be spending the money they spend? I'm only saying this because my mindset to finances has changed since I've had money. When I didn't have money, Gil, I would have been in the same place you would have been in, saying what I would have been saying. I'm just going to keep 100% true, right? When you start making money, you start changing the way you flow. Now, could I spend £200 on a trainer at this moment? Not at this precise moment. I couldn't personally do it at this moment, right? But I've stopped looking at people who spend £200 on trainers. You know why? Your bank account's not my bank account. Yeah, and when you move up the rankings of finances, you stop looking at things as thingy. Look, let me tell you something. What happened to me? Yeah, my bike got stolen some months back last year. Yeah, it cost me £300. At the time, I had a girlfriend, and I said, "Oh, my bike got stolen," and then she's like, "What are you gonna do about it?" So I'm just gonna buy a new one. We just gonna spend £300. Yeah, where's I've got the money. Let's go buy it. I didn't even fret. I didn't even blink an eye. Beforehand, a few months ago, I would have been like, "Oh my god, £300. I've got savings there, but £300 is a lot, bro. I might just, you know what? I'll buy it on a credit card and I'll pay it back over 2 months. I'll be good." Right? I didn't do that. So I just want, we need maybe another episode to kind of see where he stands financially and where he's going to with this relationship, so that it doesn't become that you're closing this woman from being able to handle her finances. Her brother said her finances are great. So if she's saving money and still being able to spend 2-3 grand, there can be a conversation about it, but maybe we can spend it, they can be better spent than other shoes. But if she's saving quite a lot of money, sir, relax. You know what I mean? Just relax. Don't stress your head. You understand? If she's able to save a lot of money and you guys can go forward, why are you stressing? You know, why are you stressing? It's no point stressing about this. So I'm not saying that he's necessarily wrong, but I'm saying maybe his perspective may be slightly limited. You know what I'm saying? Maybe slightly limited. But until they come to the table, I don't know what I can say to say Mila's wrong for her spending. And he's making these little comments that are starting to annoy me as well. There was a comment that he made where he was like saying about it was like the house is up to your standards, and she said, yeah, it's up to her standards. And he's like, well, look, it wouldn't be, it's a little bit too much for me. And I was like, bro, look, that's the stuff, bro. Don't start doing that. You were doing well. Don't start doing that. You're gonna cause the issues to happen, bro. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, that was my kind of thoughts. I don't know if anyone's adding that before we go on to the final haymaker.
Yeah, because I haven't
talked
about the. So I think that they're talking about subjects that really they need to put to the side, because for the finances, they are coming at it from the perspective of how they each want to live their lives, and those things are not aligning at all. And another thing is that she's sort of being attacked for her spending, and he is really focused on that they don't have a better physical connection. I think that they probably need to start talking about their, you said it, Coach, you sort of took some of the words out of my mouth, the visions for their lives, because that is what their priorities are going to be. Any finance conversation they have is going to be to accomplish the things that they want for their lives. And, I know that he joked about he wanted 7 or 8 kids. I don't really think that he wants 7 or 8 kids. I think he probably was doing that to just, mess with her. But it's obvious that he is looking for a life where he's got, the white picket fence. He wants wives with kids, and maybe he does want to adopt, but he wants to have a simpler life, and he is focused on going in that direction. She doesn't want the same kind of life. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that, I'm like a fan of Marilla's, because I think she's got issues. Some I relate to, some I just don't like. But that her dream for her life is not his dream for his life. They need to really get to the bottom of that we really are not moving. We're not focused in going in the same direction. Our goals are not the same. Our vision for our lives are not the same. Once you start to realize that, then the finances are not really going to even be important, because, they don't want the same things. So he's trying to sort of maneuver her into a financial mindset that will support the life that he wants. But she does not want that. That is the bottom line. They're not really talking about that. That all by itself is, an issue. I think they just need to put they need to put finances to the side. They need to put sex to the side. But as far as them trying to even get to know each other, I really do think that, she's not really a really easy person to get to know, but he's not, I don't think that he even kind of likes her that much. I think that you know, he's really disingenuous with her in this whole situation. He's not being real with her, that he doesn't like the way she talks to him. She doesn't like the way, you know, she is so negative about so many things. He doesn't like that. So instead of saying, you know, I want to have a serious conversation with you about this, this actually bothers me. And I'm hoping that we can find a different way to communicate, or I'm hoping that we can be open about certain things. He's not really doing that. He is, you know, making all these jokes, and he's supposedly teasing her, and they supposedly got this banter going on, but that's really not what it is. What it is that he is